Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on the John Campea YouTube channel. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it? Especially if you love the movies. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your perplexed pharaoh of physical media, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. I'm, of course, Robcasting you imagination connoisseurs, you members of this, the Post-Geek Singularity community. It is May the 4th, which, we'll celebrate it, dumb as that might be. Everyone knows, every true Star Wars fan knows that May 25th is Star Wars Day. May the 4th is just some dumb thing someone thought they were clever in coming up with. But now I guess we have to celebrate it because it was foisted on us by dumb millennials. But, oh wait, did I say that? No, I'm just kidding. But you know what? Before I say something and put my foot in my mouth and get canceled by all the people that think Return of the Jedi is the greatest Star Wars movie, I've got your favorite German, my favorite German, everyone's favorite German, Mr. Dieter Bastian, all the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland. Dieter, how are you?
Rob, I'm fine, and I'm quite perplexed that you wear that t-shirt, because I know how much you hate today and this state and what it has done with Star Wars. And I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Dieter here. Here I am, Rocky like Eric, and welcome to the B&B Hotel on a Saturday, because tomorrow there will be something different. Some different Germans will take my place, my spot. Can't believe it, Rob. And we will see what will happen tomorrow. And unlike Dwayne, Rob, we are always on time. I heard about Dwayne Johnson. It's not always on time, but we are always on time. Never late.
Well, physical media maestros show up whenever they mean to.
Exactly.
We're never late. Actually, this shirt was bestowed upon me by the great Bob Dylan, who comes from more of my action figure streams that I do with Six Scale Mafia, Anthony over Six Scale Mafia, and Lael and all the guys over there. And it just showed up in the mail. So I don't know if he had these made or what, but
I was perplexed, Rob.
May the 2024 be with you. May the 4th on 2024 be with you.
Because you're not the greatest fan of that May the 4th.
Well, it's it's contrived. I mean, when something's contrived like Valentine's Day, at least you can get laid. But when May the 4th be with you, what the fuck is that? That's just somebody going, 4th sounds like 4th, so let's make it, it has no sense of history. It's got no sense of real, come up with something like on May 21st, because that's when Empire Strikes Back came out. Show me you're really clever. But May the 4th, may the Sith strike back for the 6th. It's like, you know what? I don't know. It's just the dumbing down of America. It just is. Dumbing down of the world.
And we only saw each other a few days ago, but there was the stuff with Strain. And Rob, I hear one of your favorite studios is up for sale. Could you put in your offer, an apple and an egg? An apple and an egg for Paramount.
Well, I did offer to buy Star Trek.
Okay.
Yeah, I offered $5 billion. Would you like to hear where we're at with the Paramount sale? Of course, everyone knows that David Ellison, Skydance. David Ellison is Larry Ellison's son. He has two kids that work in the film business. Megan Ellison, who has Annapurna Films, and you have David Ellison, who I've never met, but I almost did a TV show with Skydance. Very close to that. But so Skydance had a 30-day window. Skydance has been the de facto. They've been financing a lot of Paramount's slate. They financed the Mission Impossible movies. They financed the Star Trek movies. They financed the Jack Ryan movies, including the TV series. So they have been arranging for money for Paramount for a long time. So it makes sense that they would have bought Paramount. But there's a lot of it's not a simple sale. And Sherry Redstone, who controls it, and the National Amusements that oversees the stock, it's kind of a complex thing. But Sony and Apollo also have an offer on the table. Sony, can you imagine if Sony bought Paramount? I don't like this idea. Paramount's a storied studio. You know, I don't like these consolidations, but, you know, I'll tell you something, Dieter. The people that work at studios know less about the motion picture business now than they've ever known before. The core business of making great movies and great TV shows is no longer the core part of the business, and they're trying to figure out, how do we make money? How do we make money? We're going to go over into streaming. We're going to do this. The core business was making movies and television shows. And they've kind of moved away from that, and they're trying to figure out ways. This is the problem with the entertainment business. The people that run it now do not know the very basic core tenets of the business, which is how to make movies and TV. You know, which is, and everyone's scrambling like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, I don't know. We're trying to appease Wall Street and corporations and BlackRock and Vanguard and all these people. It's like, look, you gotta know the basics, fundamentals, as any coach will tell you. But anyway, let me read to you where we're at, because this is pretty interesting. Now, this comes to us from Jill Goldsmith today at 10:53 a.m. So this is literally breaking news within the last half an hour. Here we go. A 1-month exclusive negotiating window between Paramount Global and Skydance ended at midnight last night and has not been renewed. But the David Ellison Company is still in the mix as a special committee of Paramount's board meets today. The group is considering how to approach a very different all-cash offer, all cash, from Sony and Apollo. Deadline here is that the committee may be looking, it actually says looking. They left an, I bet somebody proofread this and said, yeah, looking is spelled Lookin. There's no there's no G on the end, so it's looking. So deadline here is that the committee may be looking, you better fix that deadline, looking at a so-called go shop provision, which allows a public company to explore competing offers, even if it already has a firm purchase offer in hand. The duration of a go shop period is usually 1 to 2 months. Paramount's controlling shareholder, Sherry Redstone, has favored a deal with Skydance backed by Larry Ellison and Gary Carndale's Redbird Capital, although other investors have been hating on it for over a month now since even a sweetened offer. It would leave the company public. Sony and Apollo have lobbed a preliminary offer of about $26 billion in cash, but haven't yet had access to the books. Agents, managers, and others in Hollywood fear a Paramount-Sony hookup, which, if it passes regulators, would reduce the number of big players for shopping projects and doing business. The clock is ticking down to midnight. Oh, so there you go. That's where we're at. That's where the Sony offer with Apollo and Skydance is at. And it's true. You know, the less that we have major studio players, you're only going to there's now going to be 3 or 4 places that you can go, major studios, to make movies, which means we're all diminished because less diverse stories are going to get told. And when I say diverse stories, I mean different kinds of stories. Diversity in biopics, dramas, comedies, erotic thrillers, which I'm going to talk about tonight on Robservations. We get less diversity in terms of storytelling, which is all bad. And although in the long run, maybe for cinema, that's what we need. We need to take the power back and have people start making their own movies. I don't know. Business could change. But know what?
Sony would actually getting their streaming service with Paramount Plus then.
Well, they would, but I think Sony's been smart by not going into the streaming business. But maybe, we'll see. I think Paramount should have stayed Paramount, not done Paramount Plus, and dealt directly with Netflix and partnered up with Netflix. That's just me. But what do I know? The Fall Guy, I know you want to know about box office, dude.
Let me just ask you, Rob. I was very surprised that many of the YouTubers who review movies that I watch weren't even aware of the show from the 80s. It was one of my favorite shows. Was The Fall Guy not that big in the US?
Dude, The Fall Guy was totally big in the US. But you have, look, here's this is an increasing problem, I think, in the movie review space. It's, again, I always say that pop culture has a half-life of 20 years. The problem with today and people of a certain youth is there's been so much stuff that's been made. It's impossible to really go back. So I don't blame them. It's impossible to go back and understand what was made. But anybody that doesn't do a cursory, the Fall Guy, I mean, it takes, you know how long it takes to type the Fall Guy into Google? Let me tell you, if you know how to type, probably less than a second. And when you hit the return button, within another second or two, you'll get a whole Wikipedia entry on the Fall Guy, and you can read up on it. It's frustrating that we live in a world with all of this information, literally the entirety of human endeavor, and you can't figure that out. You can't figure out that the Fall Guy was based on a... It's like when people watch...
One of my favorite shows back in the day, Rob. It was actually called here, Rob. It was called A Cold for All Cases. Was actually the German.
Colt Seaver, man. I mean, it's Lee Majors.
Yeah.
You know, these are people that don't know that blue is the warmest color. It's based on a French graphic novel. It's my favorite comic adaptation.
I was surprised even Jeremy Jahns wasn't even big aware of the series.
Yeah. Well, you know, youth, young people. Yeah. You know, if you don't... TV especially. TV, I've noticed, of all the things that fall out of the pop culture zeitgeist, nothing falls out of the pop culture zeitgeist faster than television. Because there's so many streaming shows and so much stuff, especially now, because it used to be that a TV show would last 26, 30 episodes and run from September to June. Now we're lucky if we get 10-episode series. Sometimes we get 8 now, sometimes we get 6, and they're gone. Whereas if you had 7 seasons of something like The Fall Guy, that's a lot of episodes. You're pushing 200 episodes there, depending. And so it became a staple. And also, here's another thing that I don't mean to bag on young people, because it's not just the pop culture zeitgeist. It's the fact, too, that when The Fall Guy was on, there was really only 3 networks. There was ABC, CBS, NBC. You had public television. You maybe had a few indie channels, and cable was making its comeuppance. So you had HBO and you had Showtime and other various, but you didn't have hundreds of channels. So people all watched the same stuff. There was just not that much stuff to watch.
Yeah.
So shows, and nowadays that landscape has completely changed, and it's grown exponentially in terms of what people watch. So the whole world, if you weren't coming of age in the 80s, and even if you were born in 1990, you know, and you're now, 34 years old, by the time you started watching TV regularly and you weren't watching kids programs, you were, 8, 9, 10? So you're into the 2000s already.
Yeah.
So why would you know anything about The Fall Guy?
Yeah.
But a little research could be nice.
Yeah. You know? And Rob, Glenn R. Larson, was he always a showrunner or a producer of all those shows?
Yeah, he was like Battlestar Galactica. He was a big name.
Yeah.
You know, Glenn Larson was like, you know, Stephen Cannell or people like that. You know, all the great showrunners back in that day. There was many of them. You know, and Tori Spelling. I mean, Aaron Spelling, the great Aaron Spelling.
Yeah, that always came up with those shows.
So anyway, Anthony D'Alessandro, our favorite boy. This comes to us from him this morning at 7:43. While it was projected to do at least $30 million this weekend, it's coming in at $28 million. This is the range for original action comedies, even when they star Ryan Gosling. Post-Track Exit reports he's 50% of the reason why people went to see the movie. The opening for Fall Guy is actually on the higher end of Gosling starts, ranked 3rd after Anomaly Barbie and Blade Runner 2049, yet further down on Blunt's. It's looking like her 10th best opening of her career stateside, short of Edge of Tomorrow and Jungle Cruise. So what gives? Why is Fall Guy playing like a deflated balloon, even with a great A- cinema score and 90% positive post-track? First, yes, we're still in an uneven marketplace and won't be out of it until we have more movies toward the end of the month into June. Heading up into Inside Out 2 on Father's Day weekend, the entire box office weekend is totaling around $73 million, off 55% from the same frame a year ago when Disney Marvel Studios had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 leading summer's charge with $118.4 million. But in Fall Guy, despite how well it plays with audiences, there's nothing that screams, rush to this. despite Universal showing off the fun and the romance in its campaign. It's too inside Hollywood, and these types of movies never play to an uber-wide crowd, despite how accessible the studio and filmmakers have tried to make it. Why do young people want to see this movie? Challenges a film finance source. Okay, here's the thing. I would just like to say this. Challenges a film finance source. The reason they want to see the movie is it's a good movie. I am willing to bet, I will stake my reputation on this. I'll bet that The Fall Guy does better, I hope, today and tomorrow through word of mouth. You know, kind of like the Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney romantic rom-com that we saw, what is it, Anyone But You? That movie made over $200 million and played strong. I think when people find out about this film, like you just pointed out, not a lot of people remember The Fall Guy. And it's funny because even Elizabeth, who loved The Fall Guy, she goes, wait, is the Fall Guy movie based on the Fall Guy TV show? She watched the show and had to ask that. And I was like, yeah, baby, it is. So I totally get it. But, you know, the reason why people want to go see movies is because they're good. And if this movie is good and entertaining, I think it will deliver the goods. And people will come to it next week. We got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes opening. Steve Asbell and the folks over at 20th Century Studios apparently have presented a pretty great movie. By the way, another exhibitor friend of mine did see Furiosa this week.
Okay.
And said, now somebody told me I'd read something that said Furiosa was the Phantom Menace of Mad Max movies. I'd said that, but I don't know what that means. Maybe but my friend who I trust, who has great taste, who saw Furiosa, said it was great. Awesome. So I tend to lean in. Look, we all want it to be great. What's so weird now, when Mad Max Fury Road came out, everybody loved it. You know, and now there's this whole weird, like, oh, it's a girl boss movie, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, first of all, the reason they made this Furiosa movie is because when they were making Mad Max Fury Road, that movie was in development for almost 20 years. They tried they tried different times to make it, and they couldn't make it, and different things happened in the subprime mortgage crisis. But when they were developing and they came up with all of this backstory, you can even get that great. I think DC put out an art book, you know, The Art of Mad Max, the comic art, and there's another art book. They did so much backstory on all the Immortan Joe and all that stuff that they had written Furiosa's backstory, and they realized this could make a great movie. So the Furiosa backstory was derived out of all the work, the creative work they'd done on Mad Max Fury Road. Who doesn't love Mad Max Fury Road? I even had somebody on Twitter who said we're the same age, and I won't use his name, but he's like, I don't like the Mad Max movies, they're boring. I'm like, what the fuck? And then he clarified his comment, and he's like, well, you know, I don't like the desert milieu. I don't like that desert setting. I have to tell you, I mean, I saw Mad Max in the theater when it first came out. That was one of those movies my dad dropped me off. Would get me in. Now, Mad Max at the time, the first Mad Max, if you go, it's almost quaint compared to the action. Yep. But in 1982, Road Warrior was Mad Max 2 in the rest of the world except America. When the Road Warrior came out here, that fucking movie was awesome. You know, it was
still holds up.
It's one of the greatest. It truly is one of the greatest action films ever made. Yeah, and the protracted action sequence that chase sequence is still one of the greatest, all practical. And Fury Road, while they used CG to create interesting backgrounds and environments, they did all that stuff practically, you know, which is why it worked. And I'm like, you know, are we so cynical? Like, look, I understand if somebody writes a movie and everyone's like, I have no interest in seeing a Mad Max movie without Mad Max. I'm like, yeah, because Mad Max is so sacrosanct to you. Like, you're the uber Mad Max fanatics. I'm like, come on, guys. I mean, you know, Tina Turner in 1985 was anti-entity. Well, he's just a raggedy man. Come on, it was great. Who run Bartertown? Master Blaster. Who run Bartertown? Master Blaster. Come on. We will rebuild. It's not like you don't have girl bosses. That Valkyrie chick in Road Warrior, clad in white with the crossbow. I mean, come on, man. You got Anya Taylor-Joy. Sometimes I get a little tired of our wider group of people. Give the movie the benefit of the doubt. Hey, if it's shitty and it seems like it was written by some DEI AI generator, fine. Let's all talk about how terrible it is. But wait until you see the movie first. Come on now. Yeah. George Miller has earned your trust. I mean, even
And when it comes to Max, Rob, we get a movie tomorrow, considering Max,
Well, and tomorrow in the regular time of this show,
Yeah.
we're going to feature the makers of Hope and Glory, a Mad Max fan film that, as far as fan film goes, it's one of the best I've ever seen, to be honest. And if you look at it, if they were going to make a Mad Max TV series, it would not surprise me that this was the pilot episode of that series.
There you go, people.
So, and I firmly believe that. So
Rob, considering the Fall Guy, could it actually be that the movie was a little bit even over promoted, considering how much trailers that they put out? And
I mean,
the South by Southwest Festival was already, I believe, 2 months ago. Perhaps a little bit too early to promote it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think so. I think that I think what I honestly, to be honest, I will tell you. So the Fall Guy has no name recognition, with the primary movie-going audience, which I totally understand. And the Fall Guy is sort of people don't know what that term means anymore. Like, who's going to take the fall for this? There's a double entendre meaning sort of in the name, the Fall Guy, because literally when you're a stuntman, you're doing high falls. But the Fall Guy is also, it has a connotation of something else. I think audiences today, like if you're in your 20s, the term the Fall Guy probably doesn't necessarily mean as much to you as it might have meant a while ago. Yeah. But that's where a marketing department comes in. And what's really interesting to me is, again, I don't think that the marketing departments of studios are very clever anymore. It used to be that now the marketing departments weigh in on this stuff way in advance. It used to be that they would be given something and they had to figure out a clever way of marketing it. I remember, I keep going back to Inception. When Christopher Nolan's Inception came out, they didn't know how to market the movie because they're like, what does Inception even mean? How can we market this? And of course, Inception made, almost $900 million. And of course, the Warner Brothers marketing department was like, and to be fair, they had a cool marketing campaign, but it wasn't the marketing that necessarily made that movie. It was because Christopher Nolan made a banger, Yeah. So,
and I always remember, Rob, considering Donnie Darko, that was a movie that was tough to promote. Is it a horror? Is it teen? What kind of movie is it? And I wasn't even aware. And a friend of mine said, "Have you seen Donnie Darko?" It was the word of mouth that got Donnie Darko that cult status over the years.
And I think, look, I mean, obviously, David Leitch directed the film. He did Bullet Train, which I really liked. And that was a lot of fun. And while I saw the CinemaCon presentation for this a year ago, it looks like it's a lot of fun. People love this movie. It's a fun romp. And I think when people hear that, they'll go. Hopefully, I'd like to see this movie.
We'll see in the second weekend.
By the way, I just want to point out that Sarah Evelyn, the costume designer for this film, I interviewed. You can see her on Designing Hollywood. And I have to give a shout out. I've been saying this on physical media. On Twitter. I interviewed Dana Pink, who is the costume designer of Roadhouse, the new Roadhouse, amongst other things. Yeah, and she's beautiful and she's funny and articulate and everything. And I always talk to the costume designers and I say, hey, if you can give some advice to people that want to get into the film industry, what advice can you give them? And she thought about it and she goes, oh, I know. And she says, you know what I can't stand? I can't stand when young people come to me and I'm interviewing people for a job or to come on my team. And they always ask me, so how many hours can I expect to work on this job? And her answer is, you can expect to work all of them. And I was like, that to me is because she can't, like, if you're leading with that question, you shouldn't go in the entertainment business. And it's been a recurring theme that all of these people, because, when I got my first PA job, I knew I'd be working a 20-hour workday. It was even though it was a New Line film, I was in the art department. I knew that we didn't have enough time. We didn't have enough money. And I worked 20-hour days, and it was the best job I ever had. It was hard as hell. I was barely functioning. I was so tired. And I know people say, well, Rob, that's not an optimal way to work. And I'm like, that's because everybody now has been, call it, what do you want to call it? I don't know. Let's just say kids today are not walking 3 miles to school in a blizzard anymore. And I loved it, and it's just funny. I thought that how many hours can I expect to work? And the answer is,
can I have my first day off?
Yeah. My God. And when can I take a vacation in the first 3 months? I love that answer. You can expect to work all of them. That's my new favorite thing. You know how I always say, like, I didn't come up with you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. I heard that, and it ain't show friends, it's show business. Bob Sugar said that, written by, of course, Cameron Crowe in Jerry Maguire. But this one, hearing it from the horse's mouth, hearing it from Dana Pink's mouth, she was so impressive. I really liked her a lot. We had such a good conversation. But when she said that, I was like, amen, sister. How many hours can I expect to work? All of them. All of the hours. So
nice.
I love that. That was great. So anyway, caught up on the box office. By the way, I got to say, there's a bumper crop of discs that have been announced this week. We got The Crow coming out in 4K next week.
Next week, yeah, nice. And I think the reviews are good for considering the transfer.
Yeah, I realized I didn't look into anyone's reviews.
Yeah,
I didn't go to our friend Heath and look at Serial at midnight. And I'll wait for Twin Flicks, to do a comparison.
Yeah, but I think the reviews were good. Considering last week, Rob, we actually forgot to talk a little bit about it because I've seen it. Fallout, Rob. Have you finished the series?
I have not finished it because Elizabeth has been finishing. I watched some of it, and Elizabeth wants to watch it, so I stopped at episode 5. And
so 3 more to go. Rob.
Yeah, and because she wanted to watch it, and so she's finishing school, and she finished yesterday. Yesterday was her last day.
Awesome.
So yeah,
it was for me one of the series of this year. Totally looking forward to the next season. Really had a great time with Fallout, but I haven't played any of the games. For me, the Fallout games are just too time consuming, considering the world. They're not over in 20 hours. And Rob, we have not talked about Civil War, which I actually saw in the theater, and I quite enjoyed it, Rob. And isn't actually, Rob, the YouTube space at a Civil War where you want to get your scoop, before every other, that Spider-Man pictures that your boss got, get that scoop out, Isn't the YouTube space a little bit like the Civil War?
Well, in a way. I mean, this movie obviously is about journalism, and you want to get your scoops. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that way. I do op-ed pieces, so I'm not like, if I wanted to do scoops, the only scoop that I ever did on purpose, like I knew that was the Duel of the Fates script.
Yeah,
because I knew that it was sent. That was sent to me specifically for a reason by people that shall remain nameless, and they basically gave it to me. I'll say that was my big scoop because I was the first person to read it and report on it, and then it was widely disseminated and people could talk about it. But I don't. Scoops are fine, but that's not. I know that everybody's competing for that kind of stuff, but I don't. I honestly, my feeling about like spoilers and things like that, which I can't stand, is, to me, when you make a movie, the movie's already set in stone. You already have a script. So just because we don't know something, and I know people are like, ooh, I wonder what the cameos are in Deadpool and Wolverine. To me, those aren't really scoops because they've already shot that movie and whoever's in it's in it. Just because we don't know I would rather not know. Because by definition, the kind of scoops that we're breaking diminishes the enjoyment of the movie. Now, I know people rapidly, there's a thing, and I know because I'm a fan, I feel this way too. I want to know something that other people don't know.
Yeah.
But the fun for me comes like I'll give you an example. So there was an announcement made that Panos Cosmatos, I think it's Panos, it might be just Panos Cosmatos, who directed Mandy, who directed Beyond the Black Rainbow. It was announced that a big package at Cannes, at the Cannes Film Festival, Flesh of the Gods, written by Andy Kevin Walker, who wrote Seven, who wrote 8mm, who wrote Sleepy Hollow, who's written the upcoming Gavin Polone film Psycho Killer. Andy Kevin Walker wrote the script for Flesh of the Gods that Panos Cosmatos is directing, and it's starring Kristen Stewart and Oscar Isaac.
Ooh, nice.
Well, I've read that script. I have that script. So for me, if I wanted to scoop and talk about something, I'd be like, here's what the script is about. I'm not going to fucking do that. You want a spoiler? I'm not. I could tell that script is fucking bananas. And when I read that script, I was like, I didn't even know if I liked it. But after I read it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm like, I wonder if they're ever going to make this fucking script. Like so
was it blacklisted? No,
I don't think so. But Flesh of the Gods, dude, it's all I can say is it's out of fucking control. It's bananas.
Okay.
And for Panos Cosmatos to direct it, somebody correct me if it's Panos or Panos.
I have no idea.
George P. Cosmatos' son, who directed Tombstone and who directed Rambo. To me, that's the information I want. Send me the script, and not your script, but send me the scripts. Send me your scripts. But that's what I was sent that script about 6 months ago, and it wasn't set up. It wasn't necessarily getting made. But Andy Kevin Walker wrote the first script I ever said yes to when I was a reader, and so I read this script and I was like, fucking wow, man, because it's it was like kind of like a horror Bret Easton Ellis story. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Okay. and I'm like, if that movie's getting made, there is hope for me. I mean, in terms of that, I don't know what budget it has, but with Oscar Isaac and Kristen Stewart, I'm all in. But so that to me is what I'm more interested in. But I don't do that. Like I'm not going to cover the scripts I read for movies that are going to get made. I don't want to do that. I wouldn't, because there's a couple of scripts. There's a couple of movies that are getting made. There's a movie coming out called Companion that is really good. The script was really good. There's a couple other scripts I can't even say what they are that I've read that are really, really good. So I would say that I'm very excited about upcoming genre cinema.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And considering Civil War, I was actually avoiding the trailers once again because a lot of people seem to be not happy how the movie turned out, considering how the trailer sold the movie. And I was actually happy hearing reviews how the movie actually plays out a little bit. So it was actually an advantage to hear the reviews, what the movie is actually about and how it will play. And I heard, Rob, there were some controversies about the so-called, I think this is one of the AI pictures that came with the movie,
They released those after it had come out.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, look, I mean, this is the world we live in now. I watched a thing. So I don't know if you've seen these 70mm, it's like 70mm Super Panavision trailers of all our favorite movies, but done as they were done by 50s. No. So I watched the guy who does those. There's a tutorial on YouTube about how he does those trailers, and it's all AI, and he's calling himself a filmmaker. Now, when I'm watching this, I'm like, basically he's just doing prompts and he's being given these images and then he's changing the reprompting. But what's really interesting is to hear him call himself a filmmaker. And this is no slight to him, but all he's doing is like he's taking work. If you create an image that has, like, say, you see what he does, Luke Skywalker in front of an X-Wing. Luke Skywalker was created by Mark Hamill and George Lucas and all the people that dressed him, and And then the X-Wing fighter was designed, Ralph McQuarrie's concept art and all this. We now have people, and I knew this was going to happen, people that are using AI and AI prompts are going to start calling themselves filmmakers. When what they're doing is they're providing images that have been scrubbed or taken from the work of many, many people. And yet I understand, but they're not actually filmmakers. They didn't choose, for instance, even the lens size that they're creating, AI images. And look, we're going to go into a world where people are just going to call themselves filmmakers, and all they're doing is recycling other work that other people, human beings, actually created. And it's going to be really interesting because AI is going to start training itself on AI. I did a piece about this. I did observations about this, that eventually AI, deep learning or generative AI will eventually collapse because the internet is going to be so filled with AI-generated images, you can only go so far before generative AI doesn't work anymore. Because when you're using AI images, it starts to fail. But I thought that was really interesting, that I watched this tutorial and I'm like, are you a filmmaker though? Are you? I guess some people are going to say, well, it's a different kind of filmmaking. No, it's really not filmmaking the way it traditionally would be set up. But we're going to live in that world. Hey, would you like to hear this song I made? Did you make it? Really?
Not entirely. Not entirely. Rob, speaking of a little bit of physical media and movies I watched ISS, and I thought, like Mark Kermode, nuts and bolts, thriller, nice thriller, not extraordinary, but really nicely done. Had a good time with.
Look, anything that takes place in space, I thought it was interesting. Yeah. I liked it. It was well done. But...
and we're so used to seeing now people floating, in zero gravity, like it's the most normal thing ever.
Yeah. Well, now they can do it really, really well.
Yeah. Exactly. So for me, just the setup was great. Being up there and then what is happening down there?
Yeah.
On our blue planet. So really nice. This one really, Rob, surprised me. I watched Reality with Sidney Sweeney.
Yeah.
What I didn't know, Rob, is Reality is actually the character's name.
Yeah, Reality Winner.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, considering being a true story, or based on a true story, I think this is as close as you possibly could get, because they used the FBI recordings as the dialogue of the movie. So everything that is said here was actually recorded and said. So for me, this was really, really nicely done, totally captivating, because I didn't know about the story. So I was totally invested in it. Really, really nice. Reality. Then on Wednesday, Rob, I watched Ferrari. And
what'd you think?
Thought pretty nice.
I liked it too.
Ford versus Ferrari, not on that kind of level, but for me, totally fine movie. And I always remember with the reviews, they were talking about bad CGI, but for me, it was only that one crash, and I had no idea how you would make it otherwise in the movie, So for me, really fine. The only thing I had to do, Rob, I had to go to Amazon Prime, because, like Bill Hunt said in his review, you don't have English subtitles for the opening, when you have the credits, and what does it say? So I had to go to Amazon Prime to see what was happening, because considering biopics, you always get at the end the written word, what is happening later in his life. But I was great. I liked it, and I had no problem considering my accent. They're putting a little bit of Italian accent into it. I have no problem with that, Rob. So I watched Ferrari. This was the stuff that I've seen, and I finished, Rob, because I'm a fan. You're not really. I finished Chucky on Peacock, the third season. Had a good time with it because it played in the White House. which for me was a really great uptick against the second season, which I didn't quite like the location of the second season. But Chucky in the White House was fun. It dropped the ball a little bit considering the last 2 episodes, but I would be down for, of course, the 4th season. And the funniest thing, Rob, in the 3rd season was when Chucky made comments about other doll movies. Even McFreegan, everyone got their due from Chucky, And
Love it.
The funny one, the funniest one was, the James Wan movie, Dead Silence, with the puppet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He said, you didn't even get a franchise.
Yeah, but James Wan's the king of franchises, so he still wins.
Yeah. So that's what I've seen this week.
That's cool. I've got some news.
Yeah.
You know that you know that I'm doing this audio drama that we're going to crowdfund.
That's the one that I forgot. We got the proof of concept finally released.
You got the proof of concept finally released. So for those of you who don't know, I am working with Road to Perdition writer Max Allan Collins to create True Noir, which is going to be a fully immersive 5.1 audio drama that is a combination of private equity financing and crowdfunding. And it will be available on physical media with multiple mixes. And on the physical media, the Blu-ray disc, you're going to have 2-channel stereo mixes, 5.1 mixes, and if the stretch goal comes through, a Dolby Atmos mix of this. And I have to say, we are officially in production. True Noir has begun production. It is going to be a 10-episode. It's probably going to be between 6 and 8 hours.
Yeah.
And
but one story.
The whole story. And it's based. So Max Allan Collins wrote a series of books about a private detective named Nathan Heller. And he began his career as a bent Chicago cop on the take, because all the cops were kind of bent back in the late 20s and early 1930s. And then because of a certain tragedy, he left being a police officer and became a private detective. And Max Allan Collins has written 19 novels about this character. And the key is that while he is a fictional character, he gets involved with a bunch of real figures, real historical figures. And in the first book is called True Detective, which we can't use that title, obviously. But the first story is it's True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak. And Anton Cermak was the mayor of Chicago, who actually was assassinated down in Miami when he was with FDR. And was the assassination, were they trying to kill FDR? And Todd Stashwick, you loved him as Liam Shaw, Captain Liam Shaw in Picard Season 3, is playing Nathan Heller. Well, I brought in my casting director, Christine Sheeks, who cast movies like Boogie Nights, to cast this audio drama. And I can't tell you who we're casting yet, but people are going to go, wait, what? I'm telling you, the cast of this show it's movie quality. It's movie and TV quality. I can't believe who is coming on board this project. It's very, very exciting. It's increased more than I ever thought it would, because Max Allan Collins' scripts are so good. The proof of concept's fine, but it showed what it would sound like. Especially if you listen to it, if you have a home theater system hooked up to YouTube, you can hear it.
This will not be in the finished product, Rob. It's just
no
a proof of concept.
This is just a proof of concept. The finished product is not that at all. That was just something I needed. We needed to figure out, how are we going to make this? Like, I know how to make a movie. I can make a movie from beginning to end. But how do you build, like, here's something I didn't know, because I'm directing this as well. So here we have a scene in the proof of concept where Nathan Heller goes up to a second story or a third story apartment building. And he goes to this apartment, kicks in the door, and there's a gun battle. Well, when you can't see it, what kind of room is it? Like, there's two guys sitting playing cards at a table. Where are they? And so when you have to tell people through sound, like, okay, they're over here, and bullets are whizzing, they're whizzing into the surround channels and everything. If you can't see it, how do you? So I'm sitting there sketching things like, okay, we had to like make it up. My audio engineer, Mike at Private Island Post, we're figuring this out. It was really hard. And like the proof of concept opens in a train station at LaSalle Street Station in Chicago, which doesn't exist anymore. So I had to figure out, okay, where are these characters? Because it starts on the train platform, and then you're inside LaSalle Street Station, and then you go out to a Chicago city street. And you have to figure out, like, how long would it take somebody to walk from this place to the... It was wild. And now what we've started doing, when we say it's got an entirely original soundtrack, which you hear the soundtrack music on the proof of concept. That was all original music written for the show. You hear the Nathan Heller theme. I've been playing it in front of Observations. But I'm just going to tell you when you hear this and when we start announcing the cast. So I hope you support on the crowdfunding campaign. We just got approved by Kickstarter yesterday. Our campaign is totally approved. So...
And Rob, was I right? Chris Carr was the kimono girl?
She was.
Yeah.
Chris Carr plays a character named Marianne Beam, like Jim Beam, an aspiring actress whose brother has disappeared as part of the story. So she's one of the main characters. But I can just say that all of the actors that appear in this are people you know. And they've been in things, and not just Star Trek. Just saying.
That just okay.
Can't say who they. I know that's a tease, but anyway, therein ends the commercial. But it's going to be pretty neat.
Rob, what should we do? Show some stuff or super chats?
Yeah, man. Would you buy? Oh, yeah. There's a lot of super chats that have been flying in. First of all, Bruce Lum says, "Hi, Rob. The proof of concept True Noir audio brought me back to the late night Sunday radio broadcasts I listened to as a teenager. I think these shows were part of Theater of the Mind. Great work. Looking forward to your funding campaign." I did not write that. That's actual super chat. That was a tip. Yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to CBS Radio Mystery Theater. I've always wanted to do an audio drama, but now we have the technology. I'm like, it's like cinema without the cinema. So that's what I tell people. People are like, what is a fully immersive audio drama? So thank you, Bruce. I really appreciate that. Both versions of the proof of concept are available on the YouTube channel. Yeah. You can listen to 2-channel audio. And if you can play YouTube through your amplifier and through your sound system, you can hear it in 5.1. So you can get it in full surround.
Yeah.
Stubble McShave says, May the 4th shouldn't be Star Wars Day. I never forgot that Star Wars was released May 25th in 1977 because I was born the day before, on May 24th, 1977. Too bad Mom couldn't hold on for a few more hours. Just kidding.
Nice double.
Charles Becerra sends in a super chat and says, in honor of May the 4th, I've watched Spaceballs today, and I couldn't put my finger on it until now. Barf. Rob, you reminded me of John Candy's role. You're a marf. Lovable man dog. Laugh out loud. I miss the beard. People miss the beard. I was looking so old, you know. Yeah, I had to lose a beard. Now I've got to lose about 30 pounds, 30 or 40 pounds. I got to get into tip-top fighting shape that I'm going to be directing again. So, Quantum of Zen says, which disc house should do a 4K of Hudson Hawk?
Was Hudson Hawk not really already released from Kino Lorber? It should stay with Kino Lorber.
Yeah, I mean, they did that cool video box too. I mean, I'd love to see Hudson Hawk come out because it's a beautiful looking movie. It's really lush. It's got a great sound mix. I'd love to see Kino Lorber do it. You know, they're the only company that I could see would do it in 4K.
Yeah, it fits in their portfolio.
Walter White Walker says, I might fall from a tall building. I might roll a brand new car because I'm the unknown stuntman that made Redford such a star. Nice. Yeah. Nice, Walter White Walker. He remembers.
Yeah, he remembers.
Stubble McShave says the reason that people aren't running to the Fall Guy is that the promotion hasn't provided a strong hook. Anyone but you promised sexy time. Godzilla's hook was monsters fighting. Horror films promise big scares. People wait for streaming for the Fall Guy. Well, I'd say it's a lush production, and it provides big laughs and lots of fun. I mean, to me, it's, and I haven't seen it yet, but I did see a lot of it. Not a lot of it, but I saw a presentation in CinemaCon. It provided those big screen. It felt to me like almost like an action-packed 80s comedy, an action comedy like we just don't get anymore, that are good. I mean, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt have great chemistry. All the other characters are a lot of fun. I mean, it just looked like a really fun time at the movies.
Yeah.
Quantum of Zen says Godzilla -1 is available on 4K disc on some Asian sites. The question is
it really, Rob? Is it really available?
Oh, weird. Whoa, dude, that's... Oh, let's go full frame on that, buddy.
I got it, Rob. I got it on Friday. But don't forget, people, it's almost useless. It doesn't come with English subtitles.
Yeah, but dude, look at that box.
It's just the
no,
Japanese
where'd that come from?
set.
That's the Japanese box set.
From Japan, Rob. And it came per DHL Express. And let's look what's inside.
Oh my God. Dude, I'm getting fully aroused.
It's actually nice. Not the obi, perhaps the obi. The obi you can actually really fold, and it's small enough to fit inside the box without cutting the edges off. And Rob, if you could just feel it, I can feel the skin of Godzilla actually.
Oh, those Japanese! The Japanese and Koreans sure know how to package a movie, don't they?
Exactly. So we got a nice booklet with it.
Which, by the way, I no longer fear any other foreign country when it comes to booklets. I can read them all now. I can read the German media books because the Google Translate program immediately translates into English. It's amazing.
Yeah. So this is the set that comes with the 4K of the movie, the Blu-ray of the movie, the black and white version as a Blu-ray, and a Blu-ray separate bonus.
But it doesn't come with black and white as a 4K disc?
No, the black and white is just a Blu-ray, Rob.
Oh.
So this, I'm not quite sure what it is, Rob. It actually contains some sketches of the boats for...
Yeah, because they only had like one boat platform that they had to make work for all the boats.
Yeah. And here we have some kind of a map. So I'm not really sure what this is all about. You have some tables here, table of contents. So I'm not quite sure.
All you have to use is that Google Translate app. It'll do it for you immediately.
And then we have
look at that, dude.
The Digipack. So let me just so promotion. So this is the back.
That is gorgeous.
I couldn't wait, Rob. I couldn't wait. So we have the movie in 4K, the movie on Blu-ray, and here's the color -1. Here's the black and white version and bonus features. But like I said, I tested the disc. The discs are region free, even the Blu-rays. But like I said, no subtitles.
Okay. The big question is, Dietz.
Yeah.
How much did that cost?
Actually, Rob, it dropped a little in price. I think I have to think about $100 around
that's reasonable for that.
Yeah, the price dropped actually a little bit. You can get the set without the 4K, so just the 3 Blu-rays. You can get just the movie on Blu-ray, and you can get even buy just as a single disc the black and white version. But like I said, I hope you have seen the movie and already know what they are talking about.
Oh man, that's beautiful. And of course I've heard, we've talked about this, but I've heard that there's a delay. I don't know about getting it here because of the legendary movie. They have to wait to release it on video here before until after Godzilla X
Kong.
There's no
announcement yet.
No, I think they have to wait, which I understand, but it's too bad. The problem is... we would never get something like that here in America. So I mean, this, you know us. Now that I see that, I want to buy that, and then when the discs come, the English discs, the American, put those discs in that box set.
You get Dolby Atmos track, and you get, for people who have a smaller setup, just the Dolby True HD 5.1 track is on it too. So you can have Dolby Atmos.
It's funny. The only box set I ever bought like that in Japan was the live-action space battleship Yamato movie.
Oh, the cheap one, Rob.
Oh, it's not true. And I also bought Godzilla -1. No, the big I have a big box set. It's like a 3-disc set. You know, it's all in Japanese, but I had to have it.
Yeah.
So what? There's no English subtitles.
Who buys movie where you can't understand anything?
Who cares?
You know? The crazy ones.
It's great. Wow, that's pretty dope, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. Paul Allen Brunotto, our friend Paul Allen. How you doing, Paul? Says, I pre-ordered my Godzilla -1 4K box set back in February. I'm waiting for it to arrive next week.
Nice.
So Quantum of Zen, told you the big 4K box set was already available. And 1001 Johnny says that audio dramas are very big in Japan, as they are an easy way to give more to the audience. They could just be slice of life, or the characters or extra lore that other media didn't get into. Doctor Who is also known to use audio dramas to keep its brand active. Well, I will tell you that our audio engineering studio is the same audio engineering studio that's done a lot of Doctor Who things. So it's the same. But, we're treating this, I'm treating this as even though it's just an audio drama, I'm treating it like a movie. And it's that lush, and it's multiple locations and characters. I mean, we've got the characters from the Untouchables. Elliot Ness is one of our main characters, and we've already announced that Yuri Lowenthal, who does the voice of Spider-Man in the PlayStation 5 Spider-Man games, and he's done a million different voiceovers for animation and things. Yuri Lowenthal is playing Elliot Ness in this. I cast him as Elliot Ness. Nice. I love Yuri, and we made posters for him, but he's just the very beginning of a cast. We have 36 cast members. There's 36 cast.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you have to lead your voice actors, Rob. You have to do some directing,
Oh yeah. No, it's all directed. And unlike animation where people go into a booth, we record all the actors together. So we're sitting in the round, and they're all
the round table.
Yeah,
you showed a picture on Instagram. Yeah, the round table.
So, and that's because otherwise you could never get the performances, because it's all performance based, and a lot of the time you have two actors. There's a scene where Nathan Heller in the series goes to talk to Al Capone, and it's like a 15-page scene when they're talking. So you need those actors together to record. I'm very excited about who may be playing Al Capone. So we'll see.
So it's like a table read, Rob, but with professional equipment to record the table read.
Yes. And then what you do is then I edit the dialogue like it's a movie. So when I've directed it, I take the audio and edit it the way I want it to be. I pick the scenes and takes, and then I take my edit and give it back to my audio engineers, who are building the environments. Yeah. Because in the story, Al Capone's already been put in jail for tax evasion. So you hear the sounds of a prison, the prison doors slamming, and it's all done in 5.1. So you're deeply immersed in all of the environments. And the climax of the story takes place at the 1933 Chicago World's Fair. So you have to build all of that.
I need to hear it in 2.0 stereo, Rob, because I think, considering audio drama, it could be a little bit better with just hearing it over the headphones. A little bit more immersive, perhaps.
Well,
because I only heard it the 5.1 mix at the moment.
Oh, but did you listen to it in your system? Over your system?
Yeah.
Did you turn it up loud?
Really fine. At the normal level that I listen movies to. But I really would like to compare it to the stereo track.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear what you say. But did you feel it was immersive?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, good.
Certainly. I just missed the little bit last final touch, but like you said, it's not the finished product. It's just the proof of concept.
Just the proof of concept.
Nice. So this was my first purchase, Rob, this week. The Godzilla box.
Well, I gotta say, I got a bunch of stuff from our patron saints at both Warner Brothers and Kino Lorber. Man, I don't understand. Like, I'll never understand their business model, but God bless them. So first of all, I want to start with Warner. Wait, I gotta find it.
Yeah.
I want to start with Warner Archive.
Put that back.
So I got some great stuff from Warner Archive, and I know people are going to say, "Oh, Rob, cultural appropriations, racism, whatever." Boris Karloff in The Mask of Fu Manchu. I actually like these movies. I remember seeing one of them as a kid, actually two of them. A bizarrely entertaining time capsule of a romp. So these Fu Manchu movies, I know, not necessarily politically correct because you have Boris Karloff playing an Asian, but oh well, who cares? Myrna Loy is in this. Gene Herschel, like the Gene Herschel Award. Gene Herschel is in this. And I have to say, once again, the reason that getting these classic titles from Warner Archive is so great is because they're curated by George Feltenstein. And he's giving us movies. When you put these on, usually you see exactly why they're putting that out. A lot of my friends are like, why are they putting out these movies no one's ever heard of? I'm like, that's why they're putting them out. They're preserving the great legacy of MGM and Warner Brothers and showing us things. Here's another great. I haven't even opened this, but I think I want to say this is maybe this isn't widescreen, but Robert Taylor in The Devil's Doorway, a big Western, which I've loved getting these Western. The New York Times said a whopping action film, a Western with a point of view that rattles some skeletons in our family closet. And this also contains the classic cartoons, the Chump Champ and a bull cat, whatever that is. And then there's the theatrical trailer on here. So, and of course, these Warner titles are the high bit rates, and they look amazing. And then, of course, this Hanna-Barbera double feature, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo Returns to Zombie Island. They put that out. But the thing that I was most excited about that I was sent, that actually I had to rescue from my dogs, luckily they did nothing to it. They stole it because I was looking at it, and I set it down on the table, and they were able to grab it and pull it down. I'm like, no! But they didn't hurt it. I've never seen this movie. This is Francis Ford Coppola's feature he made at Warner Brothers, The Rain People. So they put out Coppola's film. And, of course, Robert Duvall's in this movie. James Caan is in this movie. And I'm very excited to see this. I've never seen this movie.
Coppola Cat in the Bag?
Coppola, I've seen all of his movies except this one, Coppola Cat in the Bag. And we're going to talk about Coppola a little later because they dropped a teaser for Megalopolis that's dedicated to his wife. And Getting the Rain People is a lot of fun. I'm very happy to have it. Now we go to Kino Lorber, and Kino Lorber is still putting out all kinds of things on. Actually, some of these are not necessarily Kino Lorber. Now that I'm looking at it, I think a few of these actually also came. Yeah, these came from Warner Brothers. I don't know. They're sending them to me. David Tennant and Stanley Tucci in Inside Man, BBC show. Got these BBC titles. Nice. These came from Warner Brothers. The Devil's Peak. Devil's Peak looks pretty cool. I don't know much about it, but it's another series from the BBC. And then, of course, Agatha Christie, and this is, I think, a documentary on the Mystery Queen. It's a documentary, 4 stars. Lucy Worsley gains her own crown in this brilliant appraisal of the Queen of Crime, Agatha Christie. So I guess this is an examination of Agatha Christie, which is fun. And then Kino Lorber. Here is a documentary that Wes Anderson produced. This comes from Kino Lorber, called Uncropped, which I gotta say, I love when Kino Lorber sends me these documentaries because most of them are really good. So, and Wes Anderson produced this, and it's interesting. Alfred Hitchcock, Muhammad Ali, Meryl Streep, LL Cool J, from cultural icons to powerful news stories, James Hamilton captured it all. In Uncropped, the legendary Village Voice photojournalist and many of his notable collaborators recount their stories behind unforgettable images taken over the course of a 40-year career, a stunning visual chronicle of New York City, and a window into the heyday of alternative print media. Can't wait to watch this.
Okay.
Who wouldn't want to see that? And then this is this comes from the Academy Archive and the Women's Film Foundation Fund. This is called One Hand Don't Clap, a hot and spicy musical celebration. This is about calypso music, a documentary about calypso music.
Okay.
And again, these are all DVDs, but this was made back in '88. So, hey, maybe the Banana Boat song will be repopularized in Beetlejuice, and we'll all get back into calypso music. So I'm happy to have these. Those are DVDs. Then, of course, Kino Lorber sent me stacks of Blu-rays. So, starting over, Jill Clayburgh and Burt Reynolds. I actually went and saw this movie in the theater with my mom when it first came out.
Okay.
This was 1979, so what? I was 12. Candice Bergen's in this too. Happy to have that. And then our favorite show. It's like you and I are having a race to get all these. Monk season 6.
Whoa! You're ahead of me, Rob.
I'm ahead of you.
Yeah.
I beat your ass. Monk season 6.
Definitely.
And then Joan Bennett, Suspiria Joan Bennett, Secret Beyond the Door, another Fritz Lang movie. Between Warner Archive and Kino Lorber, I'm getting like Fritz Lang's entire oeuvre on Blu-ray, which I'm really excited about. This comes from 1947, and it's got a commentary on it by film historian Alan K. Raid. I am loving getting these Fritz Lang movies because I want to sit down and have a Fritz Lang fest because a lot of them I haven't seen, which is pretty great. And then these are some crazy titles. I'll show those next. Yeah. But then William Holden and Don Taylor and William Bendix in Submarine Commando. You can never go wrong with these movies.
The Submarine.
I love Submarine. You know, they put out Run Silent, Run Deep. You go, Kino Lorber. Here's an Alan Ladd movie. Deborah Kerr, Alan Ladd, Charles Boyer, Thunder in the East. You know, that's pretty much how I feel about all Godzilla movies. Thunder in the East from 1952. I don't know anything about this, but again, these are Paramount's doing all these 4K scans of their old catalog titles, and Kino Lorber is putting them out. Let's see what the screen legend Alan Ladd and Deborah Kerr from Here to Eternity give sterling performances in this romantic war drama, Thunder in the East. In the mountainous Indian province of Kandahar in 1947, shortly after the country has gained its independence, American gunrunner Steve Gibbs, played by Ladd, finds himself caught in a raging rebel conflict when he is unable to sell his arms to a peace-minded government official. Amidst it all, Steve falls in love with the beautiful and blind Englishwoman Joan Willoughby, who's played by Deborah Kerr. Action and romance crescendo in a gun-blazing climax as an army of rebels lays siege to Kandahar, ensnaring the two lovers. Rousingly directed by Charles Vidor, Gilda, and A Farewell to Arms, and co-starring Corinne Clavette. This movie, hey, come on, who doesn't want to see this? I don't. I mean, I do. Wait, yes, I do. Now, here comes, they're always, Kino Lorber's also putting out, like, John Carradine with Gene Parker and Nils Ather, and this is an Edgar Ulmer movie. Love him to death. I mean, this is Bluebeard. I've only heard about this movie. I've never seen it. Again, Paramount scanned this in 4K. This is from 1944. Stars in this eerie film noir version of the often told Bluebeard legend. So, hey, never seen this. I love it, and I'm loving what Kino Lorber's doing with this. Now, Betty Page, the inspiration for the character from The Rocketeer, Teaserama Burlesque Classics, Buxom Botees. Here you go. Little Betty Page awesomeness on Blu-ray. Gotta love that. You know, what's up? I love Betty Page, and this is another Something Weird video edition.
Yeah.
And this is from 54 to 56. There's all kinds of special features on here. If you're a Betty Page fan, There you go. Or a Rocketeer fan. You might want to pick that up. And then here comes Vitagraph Comedies. This comes from back in the day. These are silent films. These are from 1907 to 1922. So Vitagraph Comedies, true. I mean, Kino Lorber putting out these silent films going all the way back to 1907. I love seeing this because I love delving into cinema history. I've never seen any. I don't think I've seen anything like this before. So, and these are chock-a-block full of special features. And if you want to get into that kind of stuff, it's amazing. So that's what I got from Kino Lorber and Warner Archive. I want to thank both companies for being sponsors of this show. And I particularly appreciate both companies' adherence to protecting and preserving the rich cinematic legacy of not just studios, but of our entire cinematic arts. So you go, Kino Lorber, and you go, Warner Archive. And by the way, Kino Lorber is always having great sales on their website. And I noticed they had like To Live and Die in LA, the 4K up for really, really cheap. And if you haven't bought To Live and Die in LA in 4K,
now's the time.
You should go to Kino Lorber and get it. And same, by the way, get The Usual Suspects too, because all of the brand new transfer, all the special features that Dave Parker and I and Kerry David produced for The Usual Suspects are on that Usual Suspects 4K disc, and our special features were out of print since 2001. And I still stand by those special features. Very proud of the work we did. So check those out. You know, after 23 years, they're back in print. Thank you, Kino Lorber.
Nice.
So there you go.
This was your haul, Rob?
No, I got more.
Oh, you got even more. Okay. Then I show my stuff, which is not that many, Rob. This one from 88 Films. It goes under the Slasher Classics collection with Luther and Phillips. I bought the first Power, but I only have vague remembrance seeing it on VHS back in the day.
I saw that movie in the theater.
Ooh, it's still rated 18.
Wow.
And you actually could change the cover if you want to. But I actually
Brian Thompson.
Oh, nice. But I actually quite like the Slasher Classics collection font here. And in that same way, I bought student bodies.
All right.
From the Slasher Classics collection, which you could change to, and then you are completely free of the rating or the Slasher Classics collection. And some people may ask, Deeds, where's China O'Brien? I will wait for the Vinegar Syndrome. So this is from Eureka, but not China O'Brien. I got Black Mask. And Rob, I just bought it, just bought it. I wasn't even aware. There are four different cuts of the movie here presented. You get different cover here from Jet Li. So we got on disc 1 is the Hong Kong theatrical version, international export version, and on disc 2 is the Taiwan version and an extended version of the movie. So 4 versions of it, and it comes always with the first shipment from Eureka with a booklet, which at some point could actually be missing, because as far as I know, always the first batch of Eureka that comes often with a booklet, considering Black Mask. So just putting that back from Eureka. Then Cat in the Bag for me. Hope it's good. Just called Scalper. So
wow.
Should fit in the slasher genre too. Just comes with the disc, but has a little bit in the back. And Jake Busey is in it, and Bei Ling. So we're looking forward. And I think I've read something that is actually even a prequel for that movie. And last week, you probably remember, Rob, I showed The Bone Woman, and I thought that I quite enjoyed the movie. I think that if you take the supernatural elements out of the movie, it still works just as a drama. And since I loved the movie, I bought the American version too, which comes with the original title, Hussara, and comes with more bonus features. Even the media book has, of course, the book part. But this comes with commentary, behind the scenes, 3 deleted scenes, and it comes with a booklet of the movie too, which a little bit features the cover of the German media book.
Very nice, very nice.
So, Usara, aka the Bone Woman. I'm really looking forward to Michelle Gaza Severa's next outing. Perhaps she can do it like Rose Glass, a double header. So after that one, the next good one. And Rob, I have a gap in one of our most prolific directors' filmography, which I actually can now finally close. I have never seen Christopher Nolan's Following, which came out as a media book here.
Wow, that's neat. What a great cover. I've got that one on the Criterion version, but that's really cool.
The movie just came out here, Rob. I don't know if it was released here before. And what's great is we always talk about stickers. This was just the front page of it.
Yeah.
Came with sticker, but the actual media book does not feature.
That's beautiful.
Sticker. Yeah. But I have never seen.
Oh, you'll enjoy it.
The following. But it's just it's not a 4K, it's just a Blu-ray and a DVD. Considering the year up, probably just a 2K movie. I would just think so. So the following, just following. My last one this week.
There's a few things people have to say. I want to say that Walter White Walker, I already said that. Tom Jr. Jackson says, is whining coming back soon? Yeah, we're trying to start it up again. I know we keep saying that, but Elizabeth has still been in school. So hopefully when we finish, we'll get it done. Joe Panora says, was Picard Season 3 a scoop? You're the reason I watched it. That's actually good. I guess it was. But you know what? I wasn't seeking...
It was for a promotion thing. What was the scoop about it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really tell anybody what happened, other than the fact that I was afforded an opportunity to see it 6 months, more than 6 months before it came out.
Yeah,
I guess so. But that's the kind of thing. I mean, I don't want to spoil things. I don't like spoilers.
I just remember you making the big promotion round for it, Rob.
Yeah,
give it a chance, even after the horrific 2 first seasons.
The Legolas, who's been a member of the channel, PGS Hero, Exhuma, EXHUMA, a Korean horror mystery movie. Really loved it. A shaman ritual scene is worth the watch. Highly recommended. May the force be with you. I think I saw a trailer for this, and it looked really, really good. Look, man, you can't go wrong with Korean horror these days.
No.
I mean, they've upped the bar. As I said, I moved it. That 4K, you gave me the replacement disc for The Wailing. Man, I love that movie. But the Koreans, between hot Korean women and hard-boiled Korean detectives, and I am loving Korean genre cinema. Great stuff. Thomas Logan says, Rob, Disney Lucasfilm offers you $75 million to write and direct a film called A Man about the Return of the Jedi character Man. Do you accept? What's the plot? Yeah, I accept. I had the Man figure. He's the big yellow, the yellow big armed I would probably tell the story about how a man had big dreams, and he was on the straight and narrow, and then he fell in with a crowd of ruffians that led him to be in the employ of Jabba the Hutt, and he became a gangster. It would be the Goodfellas of the Star Wars universe. And instead of saying all my life I always wanted to be a gangster, a man would start by saying, never in my life did I ever think I would become a gangster, but here we are.
Oh.
A man. That's my man movie. There you go, Thomas, off the top of my head. Hemorrhoid Hurts. Yes, they do. Hemorrhoid Hurts says, I keep buying the DVD Sir Les Patterson Saves the World. And my wife keeps throwing it away. It's the greatest Australian movie of all time, by the way. I do not know this movie. Do you know Sir Les Patterson Saves the World?
No, it's a cat in the bag for me, Rob.
Let me look this up. Let's see. Sir Les Patterson.
And why does your wife throw it out every time?
Barry Humphries, 1987.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a trailer for it. Let me read the Wikipedia entry. Here you go. It's a 1987 Australian comedy film starring Barry Humphries as his stage creation, Les Patterson. Oh, and Dame Edna. Okay, the uncouth Sir Les Patterson teams up with Dame Edna Average, both played by Barry Humphries, to save the world from a virulent bioterror attack ordered by Colonel Richard Godowney. Richard Godowney, a man after my own heart, of the Gulf state of Abu Niva. The film was co-written by Humphries with his third wife and directed by George Miller of The Man from Snowy River fame. Not that George Miller, but the other George Miller. I've never seen this. I want to see this now. The Australian film critic Michael Adams later included Les Patterson Saves the World on his list of the worst ever Australian film, along with Phantom Gold, the Glenorian Affair, Houseboat Horror, Welcome to Whoop Whoop, The Pirate Movie, and Pandemonium. Filmic argued the film would have been successful had it been grounded in some kind of reality, but it had a pure movie plot, a riff on spy movies complete with fictitious Arabian countries recreated on the backlot, a la some racist British comedy of the 50s. Well, listen to this. In this review, it says, Edna had left the land of verisimilitude to morph into more of a showbiz in-joke, which was admittedly still funny and worked a treat on stage and television, but not on film. Well, there you go. I don't know this movie, but that's the background. So you learn something new every day. Hemorrhoid Hurts. I should have known Hemorrhoid Hurts. You would have brought us one of the worst movies ever from Australia. 101 Johnny, who's been a member for 11 months. Thank you, 101 Johnny. Says, 3 cheers for True Noir officially being put into production. Stub McShave says, I started reading True Detective. I wanted to know what it was like before the launch. It's pretty good so far. It is pretty good. Thank you for that. Let's see. Irene Jobson says, happy birthday month, Robert and Dieter. Love y'all and hope you both have a magnificent celebration and lots of kinky filth. All right. Love kinky filth. Irene, I hope you're doing very, very well and your journey continues. Thank you for that. I very much appreciate that. And Luis Feliciano says, I know the situation with Israel and Gaza, but Rob, I'm very excited for Shira Haas, the first Israeli actress joining the MCU to play Sabra, to see how it's portrayed on screen in Brave New World. Hey, Sabra, it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that, an Israeli superhero in Brave New World. I'm excited too. I'm excited to see it too. I like that character. I can't wait to see Shira Haas playing her, and we will see. We'll see how it goes. And I appreciate you saying so, Luis. That's very nice of you. Let me see where we're at now. Tom Jr. Jackson asks, I just checked milestone messages, so we're caught up there. So
nice.
We're good. We are good.
We're good.
We're caught up.
So Rob, you could show your
the
purchases.
last. Oh, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, Indicator.
Yeah.
Indicator powerhouse. Indicator does a fine job, and as you know, they've been releasing French fantasy director Jean Rollins. Well, we call them instead of lesbian, call them sapphic dark fantasy films, and they've been putting out. These are such beautiful editions of 6,000. They put them out in both Blu-ray and 4K.
Yeah.
The Demoniacs.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, look at that.
Cool.
And then, of course, they do come with obies that have, these are all limited editions. So you've got this one is 3,682 of 6,000. And like you said, you can fold these up and put them in. But these are beautiful. I love this artwork. Beautiful sleeves.
Nice.
And they all come with, first of all, Indicator. They have Powerhouse. Indicator is the name of their label. They do such a nice job recreating the different artwork for these films, and they really go all out. And you see and these are all like that cool matte finish. These are chock-a-block full of special features, and these books are in fact incredible. They do such a great design, and these are thick, text-heavy books, and they really delve into. It was interesting. The first John Rollin movie, you couldn't get them in America. The first John Rollin movie I ever saw was The Living Dead Girl, which I think is still my favorite John Rollin movie, to be honest. I don't know if that's going to come out. I hope it comes out. It hasn't come out yet, but I'm waiting for it to come out. But this film, The Demoniacs, these transfers are beautiful. Surrealist John Rollin's 1974 supernatural pirate fantasy. This 4K UHD world premiere is presented with Dolby Vision and strictly limited, individually numbered, that includes 3 cuts of the film, a wide array of new and archival extra features, and a lavishly illustrated 80-page book. So if you're interested in his work, to have this kind of stuff come out like this, and they put out Fascination was another favorite Jean Rollin film that I have. That has already come out. Incredible. So, and they're coming around to all of his movies, and the next one to come with it was his second feature and first in color, The Nude Vampire. And here's that. The mysteries of the suicide cult. And of course, the artwork on these, and if you see these, the way they feel, they're just, they just, like we said, the reason that this stuff is so cool is because it gives an air of respectability and honor. And exactly. John Rollin certainly had fine taste in the ladies. I'm not going to lie. The nudity and the bloodletting is pretty much the appeal of these films. I know it's funny when you can go online and you can go to Pornhub and see whatever you want. But you know what? I love Euro vampire movies from the 70s. There was something about them that you just don't get anymore. And again, these booklets are just, insane in terms of they have really great interviews and really substantial. I think that you've got the definitive history. They have reviews and they've got articles. The definitive history of Jean Rollin's work. Look at this.
Oh, holy moly.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. And the thing is, movies like this just aren't even. There's nothing like this that's probably ever going to be made again. And this is 5,624 of 6,000, and it says restoration of horror auteur Jean Rollin's surreal 1970 second feature film and his first in color. Oh, that's all it says here. But and then I always slip these obies in here, so I have them. But these are great releases, and they don't just do Jean Rollin's films as releases. I just got this too, and I have not got Patrick yet. So if you want to know why I haven't got Patrick, I didn't love Patrick. This is something I have not. I have not seen this. Snapshot, Australian. Simon Windsor directed this movie, who directed like Free Willy, who I actually worked on. So I've met Simon Windsor, the director of this film. I have never seen this movie. The click of a fashion photographer's camera started her on a career that led to terror and death. So this is an Oz-sploitation movie. It's a 4K UHD world premiere. And again, it is a numbered edition that includes the extended director's cut and new and archival features. And again, they did the same thing here. And you've got like the booklet, you know, and they don't shy away from the flesh. So good for you, Indicator. And again,
that's a win. That's a win.
It's a win. But, you know, I love Ozploitation, so good stuff there. And, you know, they've got the poster art and different art for these things. And God bless. God bless. And, you know, it's getting to the point where, you know, as I get older, I mean, how many times am I going to watch this movie in my life? I don't know, but it's here. You know, if suddenly
sometimes
I decide
it's just about ownership, Rob. It's just about ownership.
It is just about ownership. I mean, people are like, "Why do you guys buy this stuff?" But yeah, I buy it because you couldn't get it in the DVD world. I've been a part of this now. I've been buying physical media for 44 years, and so often you couldn't get this stuff. Now you can get it in the best form. I feel obligated when Powerhouse and Indicator are going back into time and forward into time. They're doing all kinds of great stuff. So they should be supported. But maybe my favorite release of what I picked up this week.
Yeah.
Arrow. Arrow.
Oh.
Basket Case. Now, I saw this movie. I saw Frank Henlotter of Frankenhooker fame. I met Belial, the name of the character that lives in the basket.
Yeah.
I saw this movie when it first opened. And, of course, since it's 16 millimeter, this is a pretty fucked up horror movie.
Definitely.
and Frank Henlotter, I mean, but this goes for it. You know, this represents some of my favorite things. It's got a great creature. It's got that sleazy, grungy New York setting. It's shot in 16 millimeter. This makes a great double feature with Abel Ferrara's Driller Killer. And how could I resist them putting this out in 4K? Now, I've not between what Blue Underground puts out and what Arrow's putting out, this is one of their great full-blown special editions. Not with
it is more in the vein of Blue Underground, actually.
Yeah, it really is. This is a sleazy movie.
Yeah.
But you've got this cover, which I actually kind of love. You've got the original one-sheet art, you know, and then of course, because it's who they are, it's reversible, you know. So you've got this artwork as well. But I always go for it. I always have to have one of the original. So I didn't really dig this. Kind of a spoiler, but exactly. So I'm going with the original art on this one. But I can't believe that we live in a world where and Basket Case was one of those movies I had on VHS, and I would show it like when I was like, you know.
That's probably the last time I saw it on VHS.
Oh, dude.
I haven't seen it in ages.
Totally. And it comes with some stuff. It comes with a booklet. And spoiler alert, if you've never seen it, here's Belial.
Yeah.
This movie has some truly raunchy, gross stuff in it, which I really appreciate. And the famous picture of him in the basket.
Yeah.
You know, which I love. So it's cool. It also
even if I haven't seen it in a long time, Rob, I still can remember those images.
Oh, I totally. And you know, and Frank Henlotter, and this stuff has been released so often, and it does come.
Yeah.
It comes with the posters, you know, the two images in poster form, the two internal images. But I have to just say, you know, Arrow has really had a banger year. You know, those Conan sets, the Warriors. Yeah. I think because like Cliff McMillan is now over isn't he with Arrow now? I think he is. Okay. I'm not sure. Who was from Scream Factory. And so Cliff, these Arrow releases are incredible. The trailers are incredible. I mean, in terms of, not the trailers, I mean the transfers are incredible. So, Basket Case, I mean, how much am I going to watch this in my life?
You brought a Basket Case to your show, considering physical media.
There you go.
Let's bring that basket case onto it.
Basket case. If you haven't seen this, I mean, I don't even know if when I was a kid, showing this movie to somebody, especially like a girl, hey baby, come on over and watch Basket Case. It would disgust her, and she'd get closer to you. Why are you showing this to me, Bob?
Would have
Irene Jobson knows.
If there was a censorship stuff with Basket Case here in Germany, perhaps.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me.
But because was Basket Case considered a video nasty? I have no idea.
It probably, 4K restoration of the original 16 millimeter negative by the Museum of Modern Art.
There you go.
MoMA. The Museum of Modern Art, in cooperation with director Frank Henlotter, 4K UHD Blu-ray presentation in Dolby Vision.
Insane.
And it is HDR10 compatible. I mean, come on. If you told me that I would ever live in a world where I could get a 4K Basket Case with Dolby Vision, I would have said, pshaw. That's not true.
Only body made is missing, Rob.
We live in a wonderful world. Despite all the horrors that go on this planet, come on. Does this not give you hope? Kids today, they don't know what they're missing. So that's my haul for the week.
Okay. That's okay. So will we jump into the news section?
Yeah, there's a lot. Dude, there's a lot of news. Okay, I've already shown Coppola's Rain People. Here to me is the release, the announcement of the week. Of course, everyone knows Francis Ford Coppola made 4 films in the 1970s that are considered classics of all time. 3 of those movies, Godfather 1, Godfather Part 2, and Apocalypse Now, have all been released on 4K. But his other banger of a 70s movie starring the great Gene Hackman, coming to us from Studio Canal in a beautiful box set with some of the greatest swag I've ever seen, The Conversation. Look at that big box with reel-to-reel tapes and cassettes. And I don't know if those work. I don't know. But you know me. I love these Studio Canal box sets. And, Coppola's been going back and restoring his own movies. We're getting one from the Heart soon. But this is a Grail disc, getting this as a 4K disc. Look at this gorgeous release. Can't wait for this.
The box seems huge, Rob.
It's huge. That's what she said. I can't wait to get this. Very, very excited. So you go, Studio Canal, for getting us this box set of The Conversation. Can't wait. I love this movie. And by the way, for those of you who are Tony Scott fans, it is often said that the Gene Hackman character, Harry Caul from The Conversation, that character was playing the same character in Enemy of the State, the Will Smith movie.
Yeah.
That character, you're meeting him later in life. Now, I don't think that's official, but I've always liked to say that Enemy of the State.
But you as the canonista made it official.
I know. Enemy of the State is the color of money for Harry Caul, for The Conversations. I know it might not be official, but it's kind of true. Just like Sean Connery's playing James Bond in The Rock.
What's the state with this Megalopolis movie? Did we have a?
It's premiering at Cannes. I don't know if it premiered yesterday, premiering short. I don't know when, but it's premiering at Cannes, and it does have worldwide distribution through a French distributor.
Okay, nice.
So that's pretty cool. Then we have coming up. Maybe I did a bad job doing that. Yeah. Let's do the better job. Twister. Obviously, with Twister is coming out, and I want to say. I don't want to make light of what happened in the Midwest, in the States here. Horrible tornadoes destroyed whole towns, and many people lost their everything they had. So I apologize for that. And I could make some joke about how it's just marketing for the sequel Twisters with Glenn Powell, but I won't. So Twister is coming out to support the new movie Twisters. I do kind of like this art, though. I like on the back, you see the cow flying into the air. So that's kind of fun. Now, Scream Factory dropped a big release. I think this is their July slate. They're putting out Dolph Lundgren's Dark Angel.
Craig Baxley, Rob.
I know. Craig Baxley. There you go. Dark Angel in 4K. Got to get this one.
I don't know if it was only in Germany, Rob, but it has a different title. I Come in Peace in some territories.
Yes, it does. And then, of course, for those Conan fans, Red Sonja is finally coming out. I'm not a big fan of this movie. I probably won't pick this up. But you're getting it if you want, even though I do love my redheads. Go, Bridget Nielsen. You go. I know Sly tried to make you a star, but what are you going to do? And then we've got Madonna in Who's That Girl, which I actually liked. I met Madonna when she was on the Who's That Girl tour in Seattle. And so Weird Al Yankovic's UHF is coming out. Everyone likes this movie. So there you go, Weird Al. UHF coming in 4K. Wow. From Scream Factory. So that's amazing. Todd Solondz' movie Storytelling is coming out as part of their Shout Select, and Todd Solondz, I like his films, so this is cool. I'll definitely pick this one up. And then because Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, as we all know from Kevin Smith,
exactly, Rob.
Phantoms is coming out based on and of course this is based on the novel, a particularly good novel from Dean R. Koontz. Which I actually liked. I read this book. I don't know if the movie is as successful as I would want it to be, but there you go. It's coming out. They're also putting out a steelbook of Evangelion 3.0 plus 1. I really like this reboot of Evangelion, these 4 films. They're very wacky, and this one is particularly amazing. The visuals are pretty astonishing.
Did you purchase Evangelion already, Rob?
Yes, I already have. I have all.
I'm a little bit
already.
confused. The series, movies.
Okay, so there's the series, and then there's the 2 movies that they ended the series with because the first one was unsatisfactory. They made another one, and then they've basically retold the story differently with the 4 movies, features. But you can kind of watch it all together, and it all kind of complements. Yeah. As an Evangelion fan, all I can say is it's worth watching. All these movies are worth watching. I really enjoy them. They're not just giant mecha stories. They're philosophical. They're religious or spiritual, and they've got robots fighting each other or robots fighting the crazy angels, whatever they may be, whatever you think they are. Then they're putting out the Ali G in a House movie. With, of course, Ali G. And, Sacha Baron Cohen's getting divorced from Isla Fisher, which is sad because as far as redheads go, she's rather spectacular. Why'd you fuck that up, Ali G? I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't have asked Rebel Wilson to put her finger up your butt when you were filming Bruno or whatever it was you were filming. That wasn't a good look. Not a good look. They're also putting out Ridley Scott's House of Gucci in 4K. I'll buy this. Ooh. Just because it's Ridley Scott. Why not? I like this movie. It's fun.
And weren't you at the press screening with the cast?
Yeah.
From House of Gucci?
Yeah, I went for the Producers Guild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That was fun. And then, of course, a steelbook. I got to say, I love this art. A steelbook for Point Break. This Point Break steelbook, the dead presidents.
A little too late.
I know, but still, I know. I don't know why they wait to release these steelbooks.
It looks great, Rob, but why not release it immediately?
I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know what to tell you.
Because it looks great.
Along the same lines, they're putting out Natural Born Killers as a steelbook.
Yeah.
Which is kind of not great. This is not a great steelbook. I don't love it. Again, I don't have to love it. I already have it. But there you go. Now, our friends over at 88 Films. 88 Films releasing. They put out a new slate of stuff they're putting out. So let's delve into what they're doing. And I've got to say, 88 Films, stepping up your games on this cover art. Sorcerers with Ian Ogilvy and Boris Karloff. Look at that cover. Older, again, classic films. That's a great cover. I've never seen this movie, but hey, Boris Karloff's in it. Sorcerers, 88 Films. Just buy it, just to support them. Why not? And then we've got, I already did Dark Angels, so I apologize. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to go to the next layer and go to Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings.
Okay.
Now, I like the original Pumpkinhead. This movie, not so much, but hey, why not? They're putting it out. You go, 88 Films. And then we've got, of course, Le Pleasure. Look, if you notice, it's 18. 18. Ooh. This looks like a little Eyes Wide Shut action, a little Menage a Trois action, The Pleasure, the Italian collection. Here's what I have to say about this. Oh my, yes, please. I don't know if this is 70s bush porn, but if it is, I will get it. And I should get it anyway, because why not? Then we've got Sex and Zen
Temporary
3. Temporary artwork, 88 Films, Sex and Zen. Again, you know, naked hot Chinese girls. What's not to love? I actually like these movies. The first one's still the best one, but hey, Sex and Zen 3 coming to us from 88 Films. You go, boys and girls, over to 88 Films. Then we've got Curse of the Crimson Altar, a Christopher Lee and Boris Karloff movie. Again, look at these covers, dude. Where are they getting these? Oh, my God. They're making them themselves in Photoshop. These are really cool. I love them. Definitely going to pick this up. Now, here's one. Skinned Alive. It looks like it's a redemption title. It doesn't say redemption on it, but it's got that redemption look. You know, you can't go wrong. Look at this. Skinned Alive. Is it Martyrs 2?
In the same Slasher Classics collection.
Yeah, it is part of their Slasher Classics collection. So why not? And it's 18, Dieter. 18.
Don't know the movie.
And then
Skinned Alive. Okay.
Skinned Alive. And then they're bringing us in the Slasher Classics collection Funeral Home. Funeral Home. Look, what do you think the difference is? This is only 12. Funeral Home's 12. Yeah. Skinned Alive's 18. What do you think the difference between Funeral Home for ages 12, 12 and up, or Skinned Alive? What does Skinned Alive have in it that Funeral Home doesn't? What do you think?
A Funeral Home looks more like a ghosty vibe, you know?
Yeah, not as much fun. Not nearly as much fun as this. And then they've got these beautiful films that I don't even know what they are. Okay. With these, I love these covers. Chinese. And then this one is called actually Immortal Tales. I think it's not Immortal Tales, or maybe it is. Let me It is Immortal Story. It's Immortal Story. Immortal Story, and which is pretty exciting. And then this one, and these, I mean, obviously they put some money, or they put some thought into these images because these packages are great. And this one is called
Tail something? No,
an Autumn Tale.
An Autumn Tale. Okay.
Yeah, an Autumn Tale. So I don't know anything about those, but hey, they look beautiful, and they put some effort into them. So you go, 88 Films. We should all support you. Army of Shadows, Jean-Pierre Melville. I love this movie, World War II resistance movie, but Criterion has previously released this on Blu-ray. Yeah. And this is only released on Blu-ray, which is kind of a bummer. I mean, I understand that Studio Canal did not. Yeah. Maybe they released it before. I don't know if it's a remaster or what. I love this movie.
Well, probably same transfer.
Yeah, I love Jean-Pierre Melville. I'm kind of bummed out that it's not in 4K, but what can you do? Hey, if you didn't pick up the Criterion disc, you can pick up the Studio Canal version. Maybe there's different special features on it. I don't know, but it's very cool. And all the way back to Kino Lorber putting out the 4K Heat, Brokeback Mountain.
Ooh, okay.
I Can't Quit You. So here you go. For this is actually a great movie. It's heart-wrenching, great cast, great performances. Ong Lee proving that he can work in just about any genre. Great stuff. And you gotta love it. Now, speaking about Indicator and Powerhouse, Bruiser, one of George Romero's later films, coming at you from Indicator. Indicator bringing the heat. And along with that, in 4K, I never thought I'd see this in 4K. And also in
page book. 80.
I know, man. Gotta get that. And also Single white female. Look at that.
Awesome.
It doesn't look like it's in 4K, but single white female. You know, they've been doing a lot of Columbia titles when they remaster them. They've done such a good job. So good on them. Single white female coming out. I always liked this movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got Untouched coming out from Indicator with Ricardo Montalban.
Ricardo Montalban.
Look at that cover. No one around Ricardo Montalban is untouched. He wants to touch all of you because he's that much of a man. So there you go. Ricardo Montalban. And then we've got, that's all coming out from Indicator. And then we have, of course, coming out from Warner Brothers, The New Adventures of Batman, the complete collection. I don't know if this is Warner Archive or regular Warner Brothers, but it's coming out. And then Dieter, this next one's for you.
Hold on, my butt. Yeah. Okay.
This is for you. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
It's a new box set of all 5 Hunger Games movies. Now, I know this is your weakness, and this is actually a pretty.
Move away. Move along, Rob.
This
move
is
along.
a pretty beautiful set.
Let's move along, Rob.
I'm loving this artwork. I don't know, Dieter. It's the
move
5
along, Rob.
film.
God damn it.
Okay. I'm just saying, more for you. More for you. And then look at this. Once Upon a Time in the West. Look at this beautiful box set. Now, I don't know if this is because I thought the Paramount release was not this, but it looks like this is It's Paramount, but is this a Studio Canal? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so, Rob. It's Paramount Worldwide.
Well, it is Paramount Worldwide, but yeah, I mean, if this is what they're doing, good on them. Because here's one of the great movies of all time. Why not? So that looks great. Very tasty. Want to have that in my collection. Yeah. Oh my, thank you. Please give it to me. But it might be a European release. I'm not sure. I got to check into it. Okay. 4K of Miyazaki's recent film, The Boy and the Heron.
The Boy and the Heron, yeah.
Coming out. Studio Ghibli or Ghibli. I always say Ghibli. Studio Ghibli, actually. So that's cool that's coming out. I'm sure King Tannic will like that. And then we've got, look at this coming. This is also Studio Canal. Memories of Murder. I got to get me this. Actually, Curzon's putting this out in the UK. This is a Curzon title. I love this movie, even though when they made it, the murders were unsolved and they're solved now. It's still a great film. Bong Joon-ho. Memories of Murder is a terrific serial killer movie. A really great Korean police procedural. If you've never seen it, it's great. Love it, love it, love it. And now on to sales figures. We've got the top 20 sellers for the week.
Awesome.
Ending on the 27th of April. And, of course, all combined. So the number one title is, of course, The Beekeeper. And the Blu-ray share for the title is 52%. Yeah. And the UHD is 10%. So of all, which is, that says a lot. So, but that's still, even though the Blu-ray is 52% and UHD is 10%, that's 62% that aren't DVD. So that's good. And then, of course, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2 is number 2. And the Blu-ray share for that is 100%. And although how can it be 100% and the UHD is 15%? I don't know. The Departed, of which I still don't have yet. I don't have
perhaps, Rob, it's the UHD and the Blu-ray are combined, and you can't get them separately. Perhaps,
that could be true. The Departed is, of course, number 3. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is number 4. The Abyss is number 5, again, which I still don't have. Paw Patrol is number 6, and this is amazing. Andrei Tarkovsky's Nostalgia, which I showed last week. Kino Lorber, 100% Blu-ray, 97%, whatever that means, 4K. The fact that this is overall number 7 on the sales charts, it tells me...
Surprising.
But I'll get to that in a minute. Wonka is number 8, number 9's Migration, and number 10 is The Hunger Games. Okay, I just want to say, I want to point out that if, in fact, and it is on the sales figure, that an Andrei Tarkovsky movie is number 7 on the overall sales chart, That to me is an indicator of how few physical media discs are being sold. Because think about it.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Andrei Tarkovsky is on the top 10 that people
They
bought.
used that at the blockbusters or bigger movies that are dropping in price, but never would have guessed that movie.
Never in my life would I thought that I would see an Andrei Tarkovsky movie in the top 10 sales discs for the week. Now, it's also because it depends what's coming out. But look, I wonder, and I'll say this now, I think that we will probably do this show for another year. We'll probably get, I'd love to get, this is the 151st show that we've done. I don't know if we have enough life. I wonder if we're, by the time we get to show 200, sometime in 2025, if it'll be worth doing. I mean, I think it, I do too, but I think it's an indicator, the fact that an Andrei Tarkovsky movie is that high. I don't know. I was blown away that was the case. I mean, it's cool because I love Tarkovsky, but a top 10 people buying physical media of all formats bought Nostalgia in 4K to put it in the top. I mean, to be fair, it's a 4K title, so I guess everybody would buy that, but amazing.
Is it in the just 4K top 10 also? You have not.
Well, we haven't got there yet. Just hold on now.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Now I'm interested, Rob.
Okay, the top 20 Blu-ray discs: The Beekeeper, Justice League: Crisis on Infinite Earths, The Departed, The Abyss, Nostalgia, Blu-ray. So it's on the top 5 Blu-ray list. Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, The Iron Claw, Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Oppenheimer, and Dune Part 1. It is amazing to look at this release and see Nostalgia on there.
Yeah.
Or just nostalgia. But it's unbelievable. Now we get to the 4K list. And the 4K list, interestingly enough, number 3. The Departed, The Abyss, Nostalgia, The Beekeeper, Justice League: Crisis on Infinite Earths, Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, Oppenheimer, Rolling Thunder, Steel Magnolias, and Dune Part 1. It's incredible to me that I see that this is top 3 of the best-selling 4K UHD titles. And that really tells you all you need to know about the state of where 4K is, that the people that are buying 4K are very discerning when they put out a Tarkovsky movie, and it becomes top 3 of the week. I mean, on one hand,
was that movie never released before?
I think it's been released before because I've had it on various formats, but not in 4K.
Yeah,
I have a really terrible DVD cover of it, but no, I've owned the movie in the past.
Perhaps it could be, considering 4K is region free, Rob, that many probably imported it.
Yes, I think you're right. But that goes to show you that I really think that the disc market, the 4K disc market, is, it's the Laserdisc market. The numbers, if you look, like one of the things we didn't point out is if you look here, obviously overall, the same week ending, April 27th, you're looking at 62% of all the physical media sold is DVD still.
Yeah.
Blu-ray 22.7 and UHD is 15.1, which is wild to me because DVD is standard def, and now a lot of our players upscale things, and they look pretty good, when they're upscaled. But only 15% of the people are buying 4K because you need a 4K player and you need a 4K TV. So, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting with the way the world is changing so rapidly right now. It's interesting to see where all this is going to go. I mean, on one hand, you have Indicator putting out, they're making 6,000 4K copies of Jean Rollins movies, and I know that one of these that I received was up in the 5,000. So all the people on Earth that want these discs are going to get them. But if you think about it, that means there's only 6,000 4K discs of Jean Rollins movies left on Earth. So how will they endure? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just looking, Rob. I don't know how much, but actually the following media book is limited too. I got number 2044, but I don't know how big the limitation is on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting now that we've got companies like Diabolic DVD and you've got these other companies that are selling worldwide, the 4K market. Like, if you don't get these discs right away, it's going to be problematic. So that
quite expensive on the secondary market.
Yes, quite expensive. And that is the news that I chose to share with you all this week on this May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, with you.
So
where do we go, Rob?
Do we have any letters? Do you have any letters?
No, we don't have letters, Rob, because what is the
status? We're gonna get the websites back up so people can send us letters. I'm sorry because we got the new. It's all.
I didn't get any private letters, Rob, this week.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Sometimes I get private letters.
So let's see what we're caught up on.
Yeah.
Any super chats, or let me just make sure.
We have Darth Plato, who wishes you
Darth
happy
Plato.
birthday,
We got a few. Oh, this is actually we have a lot. to be honest, a lot. Now I had to hit the button to see. Let's see. Thomas Logan says that Sabra is no longer Sabra or Israeli in Captain America: Brave New World. Of course not. That doesn't surprise me, which is too bad. I mean, Tango Shalom isn't Tango Shalom anymore either. It's Forbidden Tango. 1001 Johnny says, Rob, have you ever heard of the French spy spoofs Fantomas? That is the Phantom. Yeah, I own Fantomas. Yeah. The character of Fantomas predates Holmes and Lupin and was a parallel to the likes of Fu Manchu, as in he was the villain, but he was a Frenchman and a ruthless criminal. Yeah. I have that. I love that serial.
Movies back in the day.
Yeah, the silent movies. I have those. And then also there's a Dr. Mabusa, which is, do you know those movies? The German movies, Dr. Mabusa. Is it Mabusa? Is that how you say it?
Mabusa, yeah.
Mabusa, yeah. Mabusa. Yeah. Love those. I've got steel books of those.
Yeah.
You know, like those. So yes, I do like those a lot. And that's good pull on those. Hemorrhoid Hertz says, my 16-year-old says, Sir Les is the worst movie, but he didn't look away. But didn't look away. 16-year-old could have been a girl. You're not. So I don't want to misgender anyone. But watched it. Now I want to see it. Anonymous, which I would imagine is still 1001 Johnny, says, a theme of the Phantom spy films, as well as the original stories, was the question of whether the inspector who chases the ruthless Fantomas might actually be Fantomas himself, playing a role that he disappears into and keeps getting in his own way. Definitely. It is true. It is true. Major Chai Chai, hello Major Chai Chai, celebrates 3 months of membership and says, may the force be with you. B Depp is here, sends in a super chat and says, just wanted to say, hey, happy birthday.
Hey.
And may the 4th be with you. My actual birthday is in 11 days, everybody, if you're paying attention. 1001 Johnny goes on to say, Evangelion is deeply influenced by Ultraman. Ano-san, of course, directed Shin Godzilla, Ultraman, and Kamen Rider. Did you know that the new Evangelion films are all called Shin Evangelion in Japan? I did not know. I did not know that. All 4 franchises are officially one Shin franchise. Are they shared universe? Are they shared universe? This is interesting. We didn't talk about this. Thomas Logan says, nobody's talking about the Holdovers 4K because it's a UK release. The early 70s rating board opening titles are switched to those used by the Brits. That's interesting. Because that's really cool because the Brits had they had a certificate.
Yeah.
The certificate. I've heard this. I didn't realize that. I want to get the Holdovers in 4K, which I'm sure everybody's running to the UK to buy that release. So I would love to get that. I didn't know that. The early 70s ratings board opening titles. That's cool. Okay. I would get it just for that alone.
Hello.
Darth Plato says, happy birthday, Rob. Is May 4th Star Wars Day? Fuck no. It's not, but may the 4th be with you, 2020. May the 4th be with 2020 for you. So there you go. Thank you, Bob Dylan. Appreciate it. Thank you, Bob Dylan. Irene Jobson says, what is both of your favorite physical media pieces that you own? The number one most prized and you cannot part with. Well, I know what mine is. I'm sure everybody else does. But what is yours,
Yeah.
Dieter? What is your number one physical media disc that you can't part with?
From the top of my head, most prized possession.
Yeah.
Wouldn't part with. We'll get back to you, Irene, next week. I have to think about it.
Come on, I can tell her right now.
Yeah, your Dawn of the Dead box. I know.
Second Sight's Dawn of the Dead, the
Yeah.
big monster box set. That's my favorite piece of physical media. But you know what else? I'll tell you. But that's not the only one. She said, "What's your one?" But if there was a fire, there's things I could grab.
Okay, what you would grab? Okay.
Like I would grab La La Land's release of the entirety of all the original music from the Star Trek TV series, TOS. Their box set of every piece of music, including music that wasn't used. I would probably, because the thing is, the Dawn of the Dead box set would be very hard to get again, because no one's going to part with it. I mean, you can find it around, but the people that have it are going to keep it. So,
Yeah, that would fit into that topic, Rob. What would you actually not going to get anymore?
yeah, I mean that's what the things, because you can reacquire anything.
Yeah.
And which I've discovered, and you can reacquire things that I thought, like I recently reacquired something that I thought was going to cost a lot more money than it did, and I got a banger of a deal on. I couldn't believe it, and I was like, oh my God, because the thing is, people, you buy things and then people get tired of it. They don't want it anymore. And then also things that were really popular now, they get less and less popular. I mean, how many people are going to even want Romero's Dawn of the Dead in 10 years?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? I make it easy, Rob. My autographed Cynthia is now my most prized possessions.
Okay, there you go.
I didn't have my Agent Cody Banks media book. It would probably in the same ballpark, with that nice little fuck off you douchey.
I've got it right there. Right there. You're gonna get it. Swear to God, still have it. 200-watt studio. I'm not even gonna read this. No, I gotta read it. He sent in a super chat.
Is it about to live and die in LA again?
It is. 200-watt studio says, To Live and Die in LA is on sale. I'm waiting for it to be 100% off, though. It's not my.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
As Willem Dafoe says in the movie, 18th century Cameroon, yes. And as the guy he's shot and is about to kill responds, yes. Then Willem Dafoe says, your taste is in your ass. So I'm just going to use a To Live and Die in LA quote to give back to you, 200-watt studio. Nice. It is not.
Nice comeback, Rob. Nice comeback.
Come on. 200-watt studio also says Lang's Dr. Mabuse. It's Mabuse. Alpha and Omega of Lang's career. But Dr. Mabuse, it's Mabuse. Or the Propaganda album. Secular Monk has also been a member for 8 months. But how would you say it in German? Dr. Mabuse.
Dr. Mabuse. Yeah.
Mabuse. Okay, it's Mabuse. Yeah. So there you go, 200-watt studio. You just heard it from a real German. Mabuse. Secular Monk says, happy birthday, Rob. Alles gut zum Geburtstag, Dieter.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. How do you say it in German?
Herzlichen Geburtstag.
There you go. Adventure Square says, by the way, it's May, and we all have an appointment with the Wicker Man. No bees allowed. Only original Wicker only. That disc is great. You know what? I might take that. I might grab that Wicker Man disc if it's burning down.
Okay.
Because that big box set, hard to find again. Major Chai Chai has gifted 5 Burnettwork memberships. So thank you, awesome. Major Chai Chai. So I can't believe Anonymous said, stepped out for a minute. Have you talked about the Megalopolis teaser yet? I thought it looked fascinating. We have not talked about that. We just talked about Francis Coppola. I only saw the clip. Yeah. I saw the clip of Kylo Ren walking out on the lip of the skyscraper and going, "Stop!" And like time stops. You know.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't know if there's a full teaser out, which I haven't seen. I only saw that clip. But it looked very interesting. I mean, it looked great, but it's only a couple of shots. So I don't know. I mean, look, it's Coppola. I can't wait to see it. This is a dream project of his, and for that alone, you know, one of the great masters. Apocalypse Now and The Godfather are some of my favorite movies. I love Rumblefish. I love Tucker, A Man in His Dream. I'm still a big Coppola fan. I even like The Rainmaker. You know, as a studio programmer, he took for the money. I think The Rainmaker is a great adaptation of the book. And I'm like, what's not to love? I think The Firm and The Rainmaker make a delightful double feature. And I guess The Pelican Brief, too. But all good stuff. But I can't wait to see it. But yeah, the trailer looked cool, looked interesting. I can't wait to hear what people think about it in Cannes. So we are...
but should take some time until the movie reaches theaters, I would.
Yeah, although I think they're going to release it like in September or something.
Okay. Not that far off.
So Adventure Square 2. I mean, we live in, despite whatever else is going on, there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on. And as I said at the top of the hour, or 2 hours, the fact that Panos Cosmatos is making Flesh of the Gods, I love this. Flesh of the Gods that Andy Kevin Walker wrote, and it's going to get made. Wow. We live in good times.
Awesome.
I'll buy that on 4K.
Certainly.
Someday this war's going to end. So what, do you want to do the live chat?
Yeah, if you want to take a break, Rob.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Over.
But you go right ahead. You go right ahead.
Previously on Let's Get Physical Media. My friend, Tim Hens, not watched either Rebel Moon movie. Guess I'm not missing much. Yeah, I have to agree. Tim, you're not missing much. Then I need help, Rob. Luckily, I have some contacts because the next one, I don't know how to pronounce because it's Norwegian.
Oh, well, I'm not going to know how to pronounce it either.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. And then I reached out to one of my worker colleagues, Lars, who congratulated me on my shirt here in the live chat I've seen. And then I thought, wait, I know Terry, Terry, one of our members. And I reached out to him. Let me just see. Here I have him. And I will let him pronounce the next one. I hope I can get it to work.
Hvite Kristes død.
So this is from him, and he says, I finally watched one cut of The Dead. Was so much better than I thought it would be. Yeah,
so good.
It's so good. And for me, it always holds a special place in Meyer because it was the first super chat that I did send to Rob because I thought I will put all my movie knowledge against him to see if he knows about the movie. And of course, Rob did know about the movie. God damn it, Rob. Marv Dogger. Alien 4K was better than I was expecting. Yeah. You have to check it, people. You have to see for yourself. So we already have Tim Hens with Rebel Moon. Quantum of Zen. Snyder is an amazing stylist, but his grasp of story and subtext isn't deep enough. Brightstone Pictures, our makers of Hope and Glory, were in the chat and said, good evening, everyone. Peter Cunnington, my 4K player isn't working anymore. I think I need to get a new one, but all the stores don't sell them anymore. Yeah, Peter, I think you told us about it. You will have to bite the bullet and order a player online. And Brightstone Pictures says, Boy Kills World has a great soundtrack. That's always good. Tim Hens, Late Night with the Devil. Most fun I had at the movie so far this year. And Rob, I heard Late Night with the Devil had some trouble with AI too, considering the breaks that they use, pictures for the breaks of the movie.
I mean, AI is just a tool. I think you can use. Who cares? I mean,
I didn't mind that, Rob. I didn't mind.
No.
You know. Enrique Cabada saw Backhead on Shudder. It was okay. Okay, I have not seen it yet. And White Christian Death. This is actually the translation of the user, and it is a song from a trash band. Terry informed me. And he says, "I love when Gus started yelling, 'The power of Christ compels you,' considering Late Night with the Devil." That was really funny. Brightstone Pictures. First Omen was a good one, but my audience at the theater was the worst. Watching horror movies in cinema can be a great ride or a test of one's patience. Then, White Christian Death again. Sweeney seems like another overrated pretty face that will be forgotten in a year or two. Let's see about that. Castle Grayskull. Is there anything, considering she wrote in the super chat that she learned German listening to Rammstein? Castle Grayskull, is there anything we can understand when listening to Rammstein? Don't they just scream all the time? And Kibler says, it's not all screaming, but a lot of counting and Rammsteining, considering their songs. Brian Knight, why is every future sci-fi movie shows the future depressing? If it's not aliens, it's governments doing bad things to the citizens. This movie, Humane, is a perfect example. Why not a good future? Because we already crossed the threshold that we probably won't have a good future.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Rob,
I mean,
considering Humane, have you seen it? I have not.
I haven't seen it. You know, I was gonna. It wasn't playing near me last week, and I looked for it now.
Probably look at digital to rent it.
Yeah, and you know, I said I heard that interview with Miss Cronenberg, who directed it, and she was really well spoken, very articulate, and it made me want to see the movie even more.
Awesome. White Christian Death. One Cut of the Dead has the happiest, most heartwarming ending ever, and I loved it. I always remember One Cut of the Dead when I first watched it. Considering the first 40 minutes, I thought, what is that kind of trash movie? And I had to stop. Started again the other day from the front, because you have to reach that 45 minute mark, because then something happens and you get a totally new perspective on the movie. Box Office Brawler. I love Sir Robert Meyer Burnett. Your check is in the mail.
And I love you, and I promise not to. Oh wait, that's from To Live and Die in LA too. But thank you, I appreciate that.
Brightstone Pictures. Mifune was a revelation, considering the Shogun 80 series. Is there anyone you could compare to him who is working today, Rob? Do you have a comparison to Mifune?
To Shiro, no.
Hey, there you go.
Although, yeah, I mean, the thing about, I mean, he had such gravitas, and, you know, he was kind of like the Laurence Olivier of Japan. And we just don't have people like that anymore. Although Sonata did a great job. You know, he was great in Shogun.
Yeah, totally.
It was different. I mean, the thing is, you know, I don't think that the movie stars of today have the same kind of, because everybody's more down to earth. Toshiro Mifune has God status. You know, he just had that, and whether he was playing a gangster or a samurai.
Yeah. And back in the day, Rob, there was more mystique around the stars, you know?
Yeah.
Now with all the social media components, somebody says something stupid and we're already coming down on him, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Thomas Bartholdi, Monk is always fun. Nice to know. Chris Lawyer, I showed the Hitcher, the 4K, which contained forced French subtitles, and Chris Lawyer thinks maybe Rebel Moon would be better with forced French subtitles. Yeah, at least you get a little bit of a distraction in that movie. GA 7 has a release date of May 4th, according to Amazon. Yeah, but it's not the real date. It's just they don't know. There is no release date at the moment. GA Dieter is hiding stuff from us. Come clean, Dieter. No, I did show the Cynthia stuff, and Rob detected it. You know, Dear Alex Sorber, I have the free Enterprise one-sheet movie poster. I'm not sending it to Rob to sign because Dieter said not to. I'm not saying you can do that, but there could be a long cold winter. Need something to start a fire. Perhaps keep it.
Bring it to a convention or something. I can sign it for you.
There you go. Admiral, my last real autograph was Kyle Gass from Tenacious D after a show with his other band here a few years ago. Nice, Kyle Gass. Considering that I said autographs, I want to have evidence. I put the evidence up on Instagram, but Tim Hens thinks, for all we know, Dietz applied AI to his Instagram photo evidence. If so, Tim, it was Paul that added AI to it. Speaking of learning German, Alpenthal thinks, considering learning German from Rammstein, better listen to Helene Fischer to learn German. No, Alpenthal, we don't do that. Rulat, I saw a review of Shogun comparing the 80s series to the new one. One of the things brought up was there were no subtitles in the original, Rob.
No, because that was part of the fun.
Awesome. In the original, were there just as much Japanese dialogue as in the new one?
No, because you saw it more through Blackthorn's point of view.
Okay, nice. BCH, Rob is the only person I know who uses chock-a-block, which he did almost, I think, 3 times this episode, and I love the term, chock-a-block. Dave Parker gives us a little tip. I unfortunately haven't seen it. Our friend Dave Parker was in the chat. He says, hey guys, not physical media yet, but highly recommend the movie Infested, which is on Shudder, about some spider stuff, arachnophobia. But I haven't seen it, Dave, but I heard good things.
The trailer looks great. And if you hate spiders, even better.
Okay. Infested, nice. Aren't there 2 spider movies out, Rob? Wasn't there the Sting? Wasn't there the other movies?
Yeah, but Infested is the one in the apartment building, I think.
Okay. Nice.
That's the one that looks really good.
Ishai, Monkey Man is great, and this camera isn't really shaking. It's not like the Bourne movies. It's moving fast. It's the way they shoot that action now, but it's obvious on a gimbal as well. Okay. And Five Star Toasted, we had a little bit of discussion about Aliens, the format. Five Star Toasted, Cameron wanted to shoot on darker sets than the first film, so no anamorphic adapter lenses. Walter Walker, Rob, you stole the show, took my thunder away when you brought Marilyn out, You're a nice puppy dog. And Walter White Walker says, Marilyn is adorable, but do you have any kittens?
No, we only have Skippy, our cat, Skippy John Jones.
Yeah. And he is totally pushed aside for the dogs.
Yes.
What is actually his reaction, Rob, to all those dogs running around?
Skippy is not the problem. Is that the dogs, Gilbert, they used to all interact together.
Yeah.
But now we have Sebastian and Skippy kind of stays on one side of the house and the dogs stay together.
Okay.
There is a demilitarized zone.
Oh, no. Nice. Laufjunge asks, anyone know where Dieter is located exactly? And species 5071 help now. Saarbrücken, Germany. And then Laufjunge says, thanks, not buying him a coffee then. So I hope it's not because you hate me, more like the distance. Walter White Walker, haha, that made me think of because we talked about Steven Seagal playing the guitar. And Walter White Walker said, haha, that made me think of the Steven Seagal movie where he keeps a picture of himself on the nightstand. Hard to Kill, maybe? The movie? Who keeps a picture of themselves framed next to the bed? Well, Steven does. Victor Fontaine. So now I need to figure out a weekly comment that will get the Dieter buzzer. Yeah, think about something. I bet Dietz can walk on water. Sure I can, Altmetall. For 0.00001 second, I can walk on water. Adventure Square. Pyromania was my jam in the 80s. Last week I showed the new Pyromania 40th anniversary edition. And Michelle D says, Pyromania is a better album than Hysteria. For me, a little bit more with Hysteria. But nevertheless, B-Dep says 2 awesome albums, exactly. Walter Whitewalker says, I think Woman from the Hysteria album is my favorite Def Leppard song. And Alpendal says, some real metal, but not my cup of tea. And I don't know, I think you missed that super chat, but I could be wrong. From Sidhu, he said, For Challengers was great. Luca knows how to make a movie feel sensual and real. I think it's a lot to do with letting shots breathe. Definitely.
No, I read that.
Recommend. You read it. Nice. I wasn't sure anymore. Did we know how Challengers did hold up this weekend on the box office?
That, you know what, I didn't look, but I can check.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find that. That's a good question.
Okay. Just see, Rob, if you can find something out. Walter Whitewalker, you know what? I actually liked Argyle. So, and Victor Fonte says, Argyle, Walter Whitewalker. So you loved when Bryce Dallas Howard gets switched to Adele at the end? You know, the last 30 minutes, somehow Adele appeared in that movie. Lord Toss said, in Rob's voice, do I have to play trivia? Yes, he has. Yes. Davaria Fosha says, hey, Rob, been watching you and Cambia since 2020. Do you have any hidden sci-fi gems to recommend to someone in their 20s? Tough question, Rob. Do you have hidden sci-fi movies, Jim?
Oh my God!
I would put out, Rob, your favorite one, Aniara.
Aniara, the feel-good movie of the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many hidden sci-fi gems. I'll give you one, a sci-fi gem that I think you could probably only see on YouTube.
Okay. And
it's a movie that really affected me when I first saw it. I want to say I was 12 years old when I first saw it, and it's an adaptation. It's a low budget adaptation of Ursula K. Le Guin, one of the great female sci-fi writers. It's called The Lathe of Heaven, and it stars Margaret Avery, Kevin Conway, and Bruce Davidson. And it was made for PBS in the late 70s. And it was going to be the beginning of a series of sci-fi movies that were made for PBS in the late 70s. And it's fantastic. And they lost the negative. So you can't find, they've made a VHS of it, and it has it used to have a Beatles song in it. The Beatles, with a little help from my friends. Now when they put it out on DVD, they had to take the Beatles song out and put a sound alike in there, which is too bad. But if you can find it, that's one of my favorite ones. Aniara, also, the Swedish film Aniara, is amazing. But it's not for everybody. But I would say that, when you say sleepers or science fiction movies, it's hard to go, because I don't know like what you've seen.
Yeah.
And do you want to watch something post-apocalyptic? Do you want to watch something futuristic? Do you want to watch? It's hard. But Lathe of Heaven is a movie that not a lot of people have seen anymore. And then I go back to like the 70s, like A Boy and His Dog, which is A Boy and His Dog and The Lathe of Heaven would make a great double feature, because A Boy and His Dog is based on a Harlan Ellison story. So you're getting two sci-fi grandmasters. The problem is, it's really hard to tell people today in their 20s to go back and watch movies that were made in the 70s, because they just look. And this is not a criticism, but you're used to seeing slick, really beautifully made films, where before we used to get a lot of really low budget fare, whereas Lathe of Heaven and Boy and His Dog are very low budget movies, but and like John Carpenter's Dark Star, too, which is also was done as a student film and then bumped up. But if you haven't, George Lucas's THX 1138 is definitely worth going to, because that has a slick look to it. And when he did, but I grew up watching all these dystopian science fiction movies, and I don't even know if someone in their 20s would dig them. I mean, I'm not trying to dodge. It is hard. And I would say, if you haven't seen Solaris, go back and check out Steven Soderbergh's adaptation of Solaris. And again, these are not action movies. These are science fiction, thoughtful science fiction movies. And I'll tell you what I think is a movie that is woefully underseen. An adaptation of a Robert Heinlein story is Predestination with Ethan Hawke. Yeah, and if you haven't seen Predestination, don't read anything about it. I beg of you. Yeah, go in. If you've never heard of Predestination, it's by the Sprague brothers who made Daybreakers. If you haven't seen it, go in and watch it. Go in and watch it cold. And if you want a really interesting double feature, again, totally ultra low budget, Benson and Moorhead's movies Resolution and The Endless, and then is it Coherence? The low budget movie Coherence that I keep talking about? I really like that too.
Yeah. Which came with that nice ending.
Yeah.
I think, Rob, you answered that in a super chat too, or a tip from Stubble McShave. And Rob says he can actually not name at the moment the actors who are on board with the True Noir audio drum. Because Stubble asks here, can you name a few actors that are already on board?
The only actors that I can name are Stashwick himself and Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah.
But I will say...
And Chris Carr?
Chris Carr. Yeah, Chris Carr's in it. Yeah. But in terms of actors that are joining the cast, I'm pretty amazed. And a lot of them are character actors and people that you would recognize from movies. You might not even know them by name, but you'll know them when you see them. And because we have so many really interesting characters. But it's being cast like a movie. I will say that.
And last one, Rob. Is Hope and Glory coming out on YouTube? Yes, it is. Tomorrow on Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central European Time, and in our time slot, 11 a.m., which is, of course, 8 p.m. Central European Time. Rob will do an observation with the creatives of that fan movie, because I think Rob can have at a nice perspective considering of the trials and tribulation and the pitfalls of making such a fan film. And I would hope people, you have watched the movie by then, come to observations and tell us what you think about the movie.
Yeah,
if Rob was right with his quote on the trailer.
I'm really excited. I mean, we're celebrating. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, I've been involved in fan films before.
Exactly.
But I think that, this one is at a certain level. What I really like is, because a lot of people think that, and I've always objected to this. People think that fan films, like if here's my philosophy about fan films or any film. If you're going to take the time to make a movie, you presuppose that there's an audience for that movie. Now, I can understand the idea of, I was just making it, my friends and I were just having a fun time. Okay, well, that's true, and I won't ever take that away from somebody. But if you expect anybody to watch the results of that fun time, you should aspire to make the best movie that you can. It's one thing when you're a kid and you're putting on, play for your parents or whatever. Yeah. But now we have the technology where if you really want to put your mind to it, you can make a fan film that feels legitimate in the eyes of an audience. And I think that Hope and Glory shows the emergence of, real talent that we can expect to see great things from. The same way you had brothers who were making these horror shorts and then they ended up making Talk to Me. I could see the people that made Hope and Glory getting a job to make an original piece. And I was very impressed by that. And I think if that's what people would do with IP, I think that's what we should all aspire to. But then a lot of people disagree with me. And I'm just like, look, if you expect people to watch a movie, it's a really hard thing to watch a movie where the performances aren't up to snuff and the filming isn't great. It's almost like fingers on a chalkboard for me. because I'm like, we have 100 years of cinema knowledge that you could benefit from, and with all the technology and equipment we have, there's no reason why you can't make something that's first rate, and this movie is first rate. So I'm going to say that.
So hopefully, people, I see you tomorrow, because I will have a free Sunday, lean back and be in the live chat. Seeing what the other Germans are doing in my time slot. Unbelievable, Rob. Unbelievable. More Germans on your stream, Rob. They're invading, Rob.
They're invading. Who would have thought the Germans would invade? Oh, wait. But yeah, okay, let's see. Stub McShave just reminded me of something. I totally forgot I can do that.
Okay.
Darth Plato says, "Hey, Rob, I noticed on the playback of the member show that Modesty had directed the Shogun question to both of us. Oh, so after thinking about it, I'll do a letter. I'll submit it at some point in the next few days to read at a time of your choosing. That'd be great. Send it to me directly. I think you have my direct email." Quantum of Zen says, "Happy birthday, Rob." 200 Watt Studio says, "Rob, I got the -1 4K 4-disc set. It's gorgeous, and the yen is way down, so the dollar goes further." Ooh, I love that. That's a good... I have to get that then. Thomas Logan says, "Hutch Parker concedes that Apocalypse should have been a 9-foot CGI monster in X-Men Apocalypse. Did Singer ever consult with you about the best way to adapt him?" Brian never did. But I think at the time, they wanted to have an actor. But I agree. I think the technology, Thanos is an incredible creation. I think Thanos is probably... Gollum was really the first. Maybe it was Jar Jar Binks was the first that showed you what was possible, but Gollum plus that. But I do think that Thanos is probably one of the apes in Planet of the Apes and Thanos, because Thanos is purple, and it's hard to create verisimilitude with that color. But you believe Thanos, man. You believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
We're caught up, Rob?
We're caught up. I believe so. We are caught up. And let me just check one last place. I don't want to leave anybody behind. Leave no one behind.
No stone unturned. Yeah.
No stone unturned. That's exactly right. Nope. I think I've got everybody. Yeah, we're caught up.
Okay. So, Rob, do you know the episode? Rob, do you know the episode?
Yes, that's Assignment Earth. That's the last episode of the second season of Star Trek.
Okay. Then here we go. Rob.
That's a backdoor pilot.
Oh, okay. First question, Rob.
If you ask me the numbers of the two different agents that disappeared, I can't answer those.
I have no idea, Rob. Okay. Let's see what questions they came up. The experts.
Okay. Okay, here it comes.
The experts came up, even if Rob is not happy with their phrasing of questions. Gary 7 was an agent sent to Earth on an important mission. What was his code name?
His code
Gary
name
7 was
his code name is was it Administrator? Is that what they're asking? Give me multiple choice. I don't know what they say, because his code name is his name is Gary 7.
Okay, the multiple choice answers are, Rob: A, Supervisor 194, B, Agent 201, and C, Agent 347.
Supervisor 194.
Exactly, Rob. Exactly. That's right. Multiple choice. Right. Who was Gary 7's secretary?
Roberta Lincoln.
Correct, Rob. That came fast. Goddamn.
Played by who?
What was
Terry Garr.
Okay. That's not the question, Rob. That's not the question.
Okay.
What was Gary 7's mission on Earth? What was Gary 7's mission on Earth?
Well, I mean, he was supposed to observe how humanity was able to survive the... I mean, what do they want to... I'd have to ask multiple choice, because I'd want to know what they were phrasing it as.
Prevent time from being changed, number A. Number B, prevent nuclear war. And C, capture a criminal.
Prevent nuclear war.
Exactly, Rob. That's correct.
See, yeah.
I know you hate the phrasing, Rob.
I don't.
know you
Yeah,
hate.
I get it. It's fine. It's fine.
In what year did Gary 7 return to Earth to help humanity survive? In what year did Gary 7 return to Earth to help
Well,
humanity survive?
in the show, it would have been the 1967-1968 season.
Correct, Rob. I let that go. 1968 is correct, Rob.
Well, it literally, that episode literally aired in 1968.
Oh, okay.
So the episode, but what's really interesting is, I'll tell you something to pontificate now. There has been a really stupid idea by people who make Star Trek that our world is supposed to somehow dovetail with the Star Trek universe. When I was a kid, I understood that Gary 7 didn't really come back to our world in 1968 because we didn't have nuclear weapons platforms orbiting Earth the way we have in this episode. But for some reason, I mean, and Star Trek is a fictional universe for those out there, and it presents an alternate history. A lot of the things are the same, but there's also an alternate history, just like there was not a Captain Christopher that went on a Saturn mission in the future in Tomorrow's Yesterday. So this episode shows that the Star Trek universe is different from ours. Yet in modern Star Trek, and Akiva Goldsman's even said this, they keep pushing things forward in the Star Trek universe to try and reconcile the fact that none of this actually happened in our world. Like, there was no eugenics wars in the 1990s. It's like, yeah, because it's not our universe. And it's so stupid that they keep trying to. Star Trek is its own alternate future, as I like to call it. Star Trek is the history of a fictitious future that never will be. And it's so stupid that they keep trying to tie our real world in with Star Trek. It's dumb, dumb, dumb.
Last question, Rob.
Uh-oh.
What was the name of Gary 7's cat?
Isis.
What was the name?
Isis.
Correct, Rob. Rob, you know what? I hate you. Here, buy that buzzer for $1 million, and I can't use it because you know all questions. God
well, it is
damn
it's a classic Star Trek. It's not.
Okay. It's a classic episode. Might as well.
It's a great episode, though. I mean, that episode was a backdoor pilot. They were going to turn that into a TV series, and you can look up on YouTube. People have made it. Never got made into a TV series, but people have made title sequences that it might look like if they actually made the series. So if you type in Assignment Earth title sequence, you'll come up. People have made really, really cool title sequences that they could have had for the show.
Here's the all over. Rob only had 2 questions wrong in all the questions we asked him until this point. Only 2.
It should have been a perfect score, though. Come on. It's bad.
So you're disappointed at yourself, Rob. No,
I am. I'm disappointed at myself.
So, Rob, I think we are through.
We are done. This was a good show, good Saturday show. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank everybody for generously supporting this show via super chats and tips and memberships and all of that. Thank you. Very much appreciate that. Thanks to our moderating staff. It's funny, I don't know who's here because it's a different day. Darth Plato is here moderating. Tom Jr. Jackson's here moderating. I don't know if Lord Toth is here moderating. But thank you all of you guys for doing that. And then Lord Toth is here. I'll be back. I'll be back tonight. Twice. I'm on the 6 Scale Mafia channel at 6, celebrating May the 4th be with you. That's where I got this shirt for that specific show. And then I will be doing my eroticism episode of Robservations at 9 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow we're back for Robservations for Hope and Glory. And then I am on George the Giant Slayer's show right afterwards.
Awesome.
So that's
so
what's
people,
coming.
Don't forget your homework. Watch Hope and Glory. And then come
Hope
to
and Glory.
Observations. Talk about the fan film and what you thought about it. And from my end, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do is listen. And with that, we bring an end to Let's Get Physical Media, episode number 151.
Unbelievable.
We'll be back next week with more bangers. I think next week I'll be even sitting in a different place where you'll be able to see my physical media collection behind me. I know I've been saying that for years, but maybe next week it'll really happen. Who knows?
See you tomorrow, guys. I will be in the live chat and really looking forward to what the guys are saying and what Rob's input will be. Making 10 minutes.
And we are out.